Hey everybody, how you doing today? Good morning. Good morning to everybody. It's Monday, April the 18th. Buddy, how you do? Let me pause that. It's Monday, April the 18th, 2022. It's Easter Monday. So what we have here is a situation where we're open for trading in the US, Canada, believe Canada, the U.S., but we're closed in Europe today. The European markets are closed, so it's a kind of a quiet one today. We're not going to be incredibly active. I don't actually foresee a massive move in the markets today, but there are some pressure points that we will be on top of. We'll stay on top of that, and we'll talk about that. We have a lot, as usual, to keep an eye on. I'm beginning to hear more and more whisper chatter now uh, about how underreported um, the China situation is for our markets. And the stock that I'm wondering about the most right now is Apple. I'm worried about Apple shares, not like, oh gosh, something terrible is going to happen. I'm beginning to sense that Apple's earnings will be affected because of what's happening in China. I was led to believe about a week and a half ago, maybe, that 192 million people were in lockdown in China, in a number of the big cities in China. It's now apparently the number is more like 450 million Chinese are under mandatory at-home lockdown by authorities, and no businesses are open. You're not allowed out. Food has to be delivered to you. I don't know how that happens. I don't know who does it. The details are scant, very scant. And what's really typical behavior by the Chinese, typical reporting, is that we heard today that there have been 3 fatalities in Shanghai from COVID. Officially, 3 people have died out of 450 million lockdowns. 25,000 cases a day were reported out of Shanghai alone. Just Shanghai. That's 25 million people. What about the other 425 million people? How many cases are popping up of this virus? And what are the deaths? What we have heard, and it is leaking out, is that the number of fatalities reported in senior centers in and around Shanghai. There's some, again, this is spotty and it is not official and it is not complete, but there are a high number of casualties of elderly citizens in the Shanghai region. The official word is these people had uh, underlying health issues, like they're old, and so they die because they're old, and that's normal around here. And so there's no virus, there's no problem, because here in China, our 45% effective vaccine is the best in the world. Like, it is just laughable, pathetic, so predictable, so arrogant, and the disregard for human life is just scary. It's like watching an ant colony. An ant has a lifespan of so many weeks, and when ants die, they die, and the queen just keeps producing more ants all the time. And the success of the colony is the size of the colony, not its individual inhabitants. Well, there's China in a nutshell. For if you want to be a human being ant, you've found the right place to be at. Unfortunately, most of those ants, I would bet you, really don't want to be one of those ants, but they found themselves inside this indoctrinated system that is just soul crushing, and it's ridiculous. In any event, back to the markets for us. As much as I hate the China thing, um, the bottom line is, just in Shanghai alone, just there, that is the New York of China. Shanghai is the New York of China, and the district around Shanghai, draw a 100-mile radius around that place, and you've got 100 plus million people. That is where a huge number of the factories exist, manufacturing centers, distribution centers. I mean, you want to talk about the home of FedEx, UPS, the US Postal Service, all in one concentrated area. This is it. This is where goods come to go out of the country. And this is where goods come to from outside the country to go out into China. This is the heartbeat of China's economy, this entire region. And it is stopped dead in its tracks. And no one's reporting it, because no one can report it. If you're a reporter in China, you're on lockdown. You can't go around with a camera crew and show off the Apple factory, the Foxconn thing. You can't go over there and show that no one's going in and out of there. You can't go to the harbor and show off that containers are just sitting, wherever they are. You can't show the container ships are sitting offshore. You can't do any reporting. And so it's impossible to get independent news unless it's leaked out through tweets and whatever, through illegal means, because if the Chinese find out that you're doing that, you're going to get nailed. And so it is a closed system. It is a closed shop. But at the end of the day, it's a simple reality. Reality is, if you have ordered a MacBook Pro or an iPad, or you've done an online order through Apple, you might or might not get your item in a reasonable amount of time. You might be given emails that tell you your Apple, whatever is delayed, and we'll get back to you. They might give you a guess of so many weeks. They might not. And this is just Apple. I mean, I'm not picking on Apple, but the reality is that the outfit with this logo on all of their products, a huge number of all of their products are manufactured in China, and might be an American company, but it isn't American made. And so there are logistical supply chain nightmares coming up. There are no air freight planes coming in and out either. Like, if you think that, oh well, Apple can always fly those iPads over, they can fly those MacBooks. So if they're not coming out of the factory, they're not going into any containers. They're not going into any shipping container for anybody anywhere, period, which includes air, boat, or what have you. And you now look at the Tesla factory in Shanghai. It has essentially been idled because at the end of the day, Shanghai can't get the parts they need to manufacture the cars they manufacture, because the factories that produce all the parts for Teslas, and including Apple as well, all these secondary plants, they're all shut down. And it just goes on and on and on. If there's any parts being imported into China for any other assembly that needs to be done in China and then exported out, not happening. So maybe parts of your Whirlpool dishwasher are made in Vietnam, and some of the parts are made in South Korea. Car parts, glass, raw materials can't come in. And so you can't convert it to parts, which then can convert it to finished products, which then get shipped around the world. We're talking a complete and total, utter shutdown at every single level. And the other worry for China is where the Communist Party's got problems, is that there are thousands of containers that have been brought in that are stuck in ports that contain food. And they're not going anywhere. And there are a lot of containers with perishables that have already rotted out. And so now we have this compounding problem of these folks who are stuck in these homes and skyscrapers and what have you, can't get the food items that they seek. They are also not getting medicines to the numbers they're seeking. People are going missing doctor's appointments, surgeries. I mean, it just goes, it's complete destruction of society over there. It's a mess. And this is their own self-inflicted. This is a self self-inflicted deal going on. This is not the United States making it hard for Chinese not to get wheat and make bread, or it's not Canada holding back trees so they can't make furniture and like that. These are self-imposed lockdowns that they're using to stamp out COVID, because their mentality has been, if we shut it all down, we stop the spread of the virus. The reality, unfortunately, is that the Chinese inoculation rate, how many people have been given the shot, is way too low for versus the global average. Using vaccines that are ineffective, maybe half of them work, half don't. So I mean, you are wasting. You want to inoculate 1 billion people, 500 million aren't covered. I mean, it is so ridiculously bad at so many levels that they think they can control this by just a lockdown. Think again. It just is not happening. And it's going to affect the global economy. And I keep coming back to the markets. I should be saying this is going to affect the European economic output. This is going to affect Africa's economic output, the Middle East's, all of Asia, North America too, and South America. I mean, nowhere in the globe are you not going to find an effect, when it's all said and done, of this complete shutdown situation. It is going to be really bad. And there might be on the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ 100, a number of nasty surprises coming up in the next 1, 2, or 3 quarters, starting with our friends at Apple, because I bring up Apple every time. It's the number 1 capitalized company on the planet, the number 1 stock in every mutual fund, pension fund, ETFs. You want to mirror the performance of the NASDAQ 100 or the Dow or the S&P or any subcategory of industrials, growth stocks, international. Apple is everywhere. Apple shares are held by every single fund manager somehow, somewhere, some way. It is global. It isn't a new US thing. It's not just the California Teachers Pension Fund. Don't pick on those guys. It is a global held stock, the number 1 stock on the planet. And the worry is, despite the company's buyback plans or whatever, if these guys miss their first quarter coming up or next quarter coming up, the third quarter, they miss by 1% their targets or analysts' estimates of sales, revenues, net numbers of this stock is a 10-15% correction right now. That is up to 25 a share, immediate correction territory. That puts us at 140 on Apple. We're 164, 165 right now. 140 is instantly in play. The next move is, if it misses by 4, 5, 6% going forward, then what we have is revisions by analysts who are going to now call this a 120 stock, maybe a 110 stock. The first $50 a share is available for a haircut here at any time, because the stock right now is trading at a PE multiple of 27.44. This is not a low 12-time multiple company or anything like that. If they're going to miss their numbers just a little, that puts this over 30 in PE terms, maybe in the low 30s, like 33 times earnings. That's too high. The stock will drop to reflect lower earnings, which will bring the PE multiple back to 27, 25, something like that. The market might play ahead of it. It might decide, I'm going to sell Apple stock until the PE multiple is 20. Then I'm a holder, a buyer, because if future earnings are shaky, the 20 might turn into a 25, 28. And I don't want to be buying at 28 if I'm going to end up with a 38 PE multiple. So I'm buying it at 20, and I could be wrong, and it might be a 28 while it's 27 now. I can live with it. This is the mentality of the market. The stock market trades 6 months to a year ahead of the earnings and or expected earnings. And markets predict the future earnings of companies today by where they're trading at. This is all it is. It's nothing personal. It's just business. And at the moment, Apple is doing remarkably well, still hanging in here at 160 something a share. The high for the last 52 weeks is 171, from what I understand. Or no, 182.94. Oh, that's what I thought. Almost $183 has been the high in the last 52 weeks. We're at 164. We're almost $20 below the high of the year. But I think there's even more downside coming our way. The low for the last 52 weeks, that I want to mention, is 122.25. Now the question is, in my mind, will we set a new low by the time all this is sorted out? Because once we figure out how bad China is, China doesn't have to say a thing, by the way. China can shut the hell up like they are, and they can dissuade, they can try to hoodwink us into looking elsewhere. But at the end of the day, over in Long Beach, California, and in San Francisco, and in Ensenada, Mexico, and Portland, and Seattle, and where all the other import ports are for shipping, just count how many Chinese ships are waiting to offload. It's that simple. And if they're outnumbered by South Korea, and they're outnumbered by Japan, and they're outnumbered by Australia and whatever, well then Singapore's sending over all kinds of ships because of Malaysia production, Singapore production. If the China ships aren't there in the numbers that they used to be there, guess what? They're not exporting. They're not delivering the numbers. And if they're not delivering the numbers, somebody is short something. Is it Christmas trees this Christmas that aren't coming over? Is it Christmas decorations that aren't coming over? Is it lawn chairs that aren't coming over? Is it Weber barbecue grills? Is it lawnmowers? What isn't coming over from China in the volume that was expected? And who is the outfit that's missing out? Is it Home Depot and Lowe's? Are they 20% lower on imports from China this year? Is it 30%? Is it 80%? What's the number, and how bad is it? What about product made for IKEA in China that gets delivered to North America or elsewhere? What about Target stores, Walmart stores? Look, your local Walmart is drowning in Chinese-made goods. I mean, if you haven't taken the time to, when you walk around your Walmart store, to find out where's this made, you will be either shocked or reassured that, yeah, everything I buy here is made in China. If the imports are off by 10% for the U.S. market, Canadian market, just 10%, that is going to mean a massive miss in earnings for some of the biggest listed stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. Even Disney, with its Disney licensed merchandise, it's made in China. Where do you think it's made? These guys won't get their product in. That mouse doll they make for $1.50, they sell to you for $15 on the property. They won't have it in there. The Christmas themed store toys won't arrive. Hasbro, Mattel, any toy coming from China to your kids. Household effects like sheets and blankets and pillows, kitchen supplies, appliances, living room furniture, carpeting, everything, every single thing that was once made in America and Canada, and maybe between the two of us, some Mexico, has been replaced or has been added onto by imports from China. And if these cheap imports run low, the demand is still there for goods, it means higher prices for us. One, because we now have to buy product made elsewhere that's probably costing more to produce because you don't have the slave labor to produce it. And number two, America is a country filled with entrepreneurs who are incredibly savvy and are very well aware of the fact that, well, if 5,000 containers didn't arrive this month in Long Beach from China, there's going to be a shortage of certain things. I can up my prices. And with inflation as the way it is, you have an importer that's bringing product in from South America or from other parts of Asia, Vietnam or Indonesia. You're bringing product into the United States, and your buyers, which are retail chains, are calling you up, going, "You got any more of those spatulas and forks and knives and spoons and pots and pans and coffee makers and whatever?" And you go, "Yeah, I got a lot of it. A lot of it's pre-sold, but I got some left. Send me all you got." Well, you're gonna bump your prices up 5%, 8%. Now, if you're a distributor and you're bumping your prices up a couple points, by the time it gets to the retail shelf where you and I show up, it's 20% higher. And so all of a sudden, our inflation rate continues to rise because we have a smaller selection from which to choose from. And the competition will be out of whack for a while. Now, if there are winners, American entrepreneurs will be winners. Some exporters from certain countries will be winners because they're not up against Chinese exports for a limited time offer. There might be certain suppliers who are going to try to get market share out of their Chinese suppliers because the shelves are empty on the China section. So the retailer moves product into the China section to keep the shelves looking full. Well, all of a sudden, Brazilian made, Argentinian made, Chile made, Indonesia made, Vietnam made, South Korea made. Their shelf space goes up. They get a larger market share. Prices are higher, but at least you've got something to buy. And if you need a coffee maker, you need a coffee maker. And away we go. Costco, same thing. Sam's Club, same thing. It's going to be across the entire retail spectrum. Dramatic difference. Inflation will not go down. It'll go higher. And that makes the Fed more eager to raise interest rates to tame inflation. The problem is when you can't, no matter what the inflation rate is, whether it's 0 or 25%, if the goods aren't there, they can't be bought. And if the goods aren't on the shelf at Target, Walmart, Costco, anywhere else, mom and pop retailer, USA, Canada, if the shelves are bare, the retailer goes under because retailers need supply of merchandise to resell to you and I. The only way that Target makes money is if they bring in container loads of goods, distribute them to their stores in an efficient, on-time manner, and we are able to purchase it. And if we purchase it, we pay. And now Target has the dough. Target can now dictate where that money goes. Its wages, its rent for its locations, and then over to head office goes the rest, which then divvies out the money to its wages, its rents, and its suppliers, and all the other expenses that Target has as a corporation, including advertising and shipping and blah, blah, blah. And pennies end up going back to the manufacturer who made it in the first place. If the manufacturer can't get it out, they can't even make it to get it out, then the entire system breaks down. And this is where the recession talk keeps coming from, this so-called recession talk. Well, okay, if you can't bring in goods into Long Beach and Portland and Seattle and through the Gulf from the Atlantic side and up down the East Coast, you don't need as many truckers because there's nothing to truck. And if you don't have truckers delivering container loads full of whatever's in these containers to distribution centers where they get emptied out and put on gigantic pallets to then be reshipped again, those guys get laid off because there's a lack of business for them. And it just goes on and on and on. So it now means lack of jobs in America, Canada, and all other countries that import goods from China. And so here it goes. It just keeps feeding itself in the wrong direction. And it just filters into the economy because now the distribution center has nothing to distribute. The buyer, the retail entities that want to buy, who then resell, they got nothing to buy to resell. They're in trouble. Now the layoffs are going along and along and along and along, even though the demand is there. We're looking for spatulas, washers and dryers and refrigerators, and everything in between, and we can't get it from A to Z. This slows down the economy, and then it starts to affect the whole economy, and that's where recession talk comes in. You gotta unstick the gears. You cannot build American factories in 3 months and replace everything you're importing by making it domestically. The raw materials aren't there, the parts aren't there, the expertise in making the goods aren't there, and the cost of starting up a brand new dishwasher factory or washer and dryer factory or refrigerator and freezer factory in the USA, Canada, doesn't pay. We're not going to pay $5,000 for a stove. That's not going to happen. But if you want a stove made in Pennsylvania, shipped across the USA, made with all US parts, with all US labor, you're not going to Lowe's to get a $14.99 stove anymore. You can't. You're not going to get that. You're going to be paying $4 or $5 for a stove because that's the cost of business in North America now. Because workers do not work without benefits, retirement, health, and worker protections. And we have, in North America, we have made extinct the Rust Belt workers that we used to live off of from the 50s and 60s and 70s. Those folks are gone. First of all, anyone that used to work at Westinghouse and Whirlpool in 1980 in Indiana or wherever they came from, Mike Pence country, those folks are dead. It's nothing personal, but if you were 45 years old in 1980, that's 47 years ago. You're 87, you're not here anymore. You might be around physically, you might be alive, but you're not working, and why should you? You're 87, come on. All the factory workers that were 30 years old and older from all car plants, all manufacturing centers, all the FedEx workers that were 30 years old in 1980, they don't work anymore. They're in their 80s now. What do you want? I was watching the Beatles documentary the other day again, just to kind of talk about the passage of time. Jennifer and I watched all 3 parts of that Beatles documentary. We just love that. I just love that so much. I keep forgetting when I'm watching it. I'm watching Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Ringo, George Harrison, and all the crew around them. And all these guys were in their 20s and 30s. And there were a few guys in their 40s and 50s. But, you know, the stars were in their 20s. And Paul McCartney is going to be 80 this year. And Ringo is 80, 81 already, if not 82 now. And I'm going, that's not right. That's not right, because I look at a picture of Paul McCartney from 1969, and I watch on the documentaries. He's 26, 27 years old. He's what? He's going to be 80. That's just not right. So come back to the Rust Belt. Your parents and your grandparents in Canada and the USA were the employees of the Rust Belt if they were working at that time. And you were in the textile business. You were working in North South Carolina, you were working in Tennessee, Kentucky, you were working the mid-America, Indiana, so on, Missouri. Those factories closed in the late 70s, but mainly in the 80s and the 90s. They all shut down. They are never coming back. Ever. Never, ever, ever coming back. Because the Teamsters that these folks belong to, or whatever union they belong to, the textile unions, they're not going to allow their employees to work for $8 an hour in today's world. And you try and survive in the United States right now, or Canada, at $8 an hour. Good luck with that. Don't even think about driving a car. Don't even think about getting a bus pass. Get a bike and hope it doesn't get stolen every night while you have it. Those days are gone. And so we've replaced ourselves with slave labor around the world. Pakistan is where we get our clothing from. Bangladesh is where our clothing comes from. Cambodia, all these places around the world where there are, essentially, hundreds of millions of people who are desperate to get a bowl of rice and survive and get along. And there are the poor who have the slave jobs and the well-to-do who run these places. And Macy's and Dillard's and J.C. Penney, and if I'm rattling off retailers that don't exist anymore, there you go. The Costco's of the world. Take a look where your clothing comes from. Take a look where it's made. It has to be labeled. You're not going to find anything in your wardrobe made in America or Canada. Nothing made in Sweden. You don't have German clothing. None of us have French clothes. Come on, not a chance. It's all made in the lower 100 GDP countries, third world, in effect. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar for a while until we probably recut them off again. Vietnam, Cambodia, South Korea, on it goes, and China. That's it. If that region is in trouble because of COVID, we're going to be in trouble, and I don't see that getting better quickly. I see that revolving constantly. I think this virus is going to continually find hosts because the hosts in these regions are so tightly packed together from a demographic and physical way. How many people live in per square mile in the U.S. versus Canada versus Brazil versus Hong Kong versus Shanghai versus these cities in China. It's nightmarish, and the virus has a field day. I mean, these apartment buildings in Shanghai and any other city in China, the top 100 cities, you have 20, 30, 40, 50-story tall buildings. Those ventilation systems in there, you think that they're up the first world standards like we insist on? No. It is laughable. It is criminal, and it is scary. Just how bad it is, and the virus is just having a field day from the first floor to the 40th floor, back to the first floor, all the way through the building. That virus has no problem infecting everybody, and so it's only a matter of time before the virus just rampages through these humongous population centers. And if Shanghai wants to reopen this week or next week because they think it's over, think again, because the minute that one worker commutes in from 50 miles away to work for the next month or two or three, they brought the virus from over there over to here, and it just spreads. There's no way to stop it. The only way to stop it is to be inoculated. It's the only way. And they can wear all the masks they want, and they can reduce the likelihood of a spread and infection, but they can't eliminate it. And this is why China keeps coming up with these waves of problems, and they're going to have to either keep doing what they're doing, which is economically disastrous and socially just blowing their society up internally, or they have to live with it, and then they're going to have to allow 1 or 2% of their population to pass away at all kinds of age groups, and that is carnage. That is political suicide as well. I mean, for the Communist Party, this is the worst thing that can happen. From within the country, you have this enemy that is killing its own. You can't blame Canada. You can't blame Europe. You can't blame America. You can't blame Africa. There's no one to blame. And we in North America have been desperate to blame somebody. So we've been blaming the Chinese for this whole thing. But we have been experts also at spreading this baby everywhere, to every city and town and state and county in North America, like you cannot believe. Europe has been expert at it, and we are the so-called first world, where we have pretty clean standards. Most public bathrooms in North America have free soap and running water available to wash your hands. That's how advanced we are. We provide toilet paper for free in public bathrooms. That's how advanced we are. And yet, it's been a killer. It's been an absolute killer. And I'm only trying to talk about the economic thing about it. Forget about the personal. This isn't over, sorry to say. And so we continue on with this mess. The Dow is off 57 points pre-market. We're down 13 on S&P. We're down 49 on NASDAQ. We await and watch what's going to happen with our markets today, and will the China thing get more coverage? I don't know how, because again, domestic media is stifled. Foreign media is restricted to their homes as well. So you're not getting a lot of independent reporting right now out of there. And so you're forced to rely on the propaganda reporting from China. I mean, give me a break. It's like listening to the Russians talk about how the war is going in Ukraine. It's all going great. We had that big warship that had a wheel of fire on it, but everyone's safe. All the guys often, let's build another one of those warships. The fact that the Ukrainians were able to launch 2 missiles at it, knock it out of commission, we won't talk about that because that's not necessary. You don't need to know that sort of stuff. You need to know how well it's going in Ukraine. The news out of there is going to keep coming out awful and awful and awful. And the 45 million Ukrainians are in a real pickle with these guys, and 4 million have left the country. 1/10 of the country has left. Think about that. If you're in the United States, there's 350 million people in the United States. 35 million Americans leave your country in 40 days, in 6 weeks, because conditions are intolerable, because of missiles and bombs and attacks. And just think about that. Canada would be 3.5 million. 3.5 million people. 1/10 of Ukraine. The Ukrainians have left already. And there could be another 4 million more behind them. Because who wants to live in Russia? Which you ask Ukrainians, where would you like to escape to? For now, would you like to escape to Poland? Would you like to escape to countries surrounding, Ukraine or Belarus, or would you like to go to Russia? Just think how well you're going to be received in Russia as a Ukrainian. Just think how your kids at the school they're going to go to are going to be treated by the Russian kids when they see your little boy and girl come to our school in our Russian little town. Can you just imagine the isolation and the hatred and the utter racism that these folks are going to appear? Just think about going to Russia. Yeah, right. You got to be kidding me, man. So they're going elsewhere, and from there they're going to Poland, and from Poland they're going elsewhere because Poland is going, you got to help us, world. We cannot house 9 million Ukrainians. Our country's only got 20 million people. Help, and help is coming, but the rest of the world has to stay open. And how long will the rest of the world continue to tolerate and be accommodating to Ukrainian after Ukrainian after Ukrainian after Ukrainian? This isn't going to be over in 3 or 4 more weeks. This is really bad stuff. So, yikes. The markets are holding up remarkably well, despite the fact that there's this carnage going on. It's amazing how well the markets are holding up. But oil has been reflective of some of this nonsense. 107 right now, barrel in Texas, up 49 cents. Speaking of Texas, what the hell is this governor doing? What's that guy's name? I don't even want to know his name. The governors of Florida and Texas, I don't know how they're not charged with treason to the United States of America. I don't know how Americans don't want to charge these guys with treason to screw up their own country, and yet these guys are hailed as heroes in their states. It is just shocking to us outside of America. We're not there. I'm not American. We look at them and go, these two guys are such bad news. If I'm a businessman in Florida, Texas, I am shocked at these guys. Just shocked. Every single truck coming from Mexico into Texas had to have an inspection by the Texas Highway Patrol before they were allowed, a mile further into the United States once they came into Texas. And that created, a 20-mile lineup of trucks in Mexico, of which many of those trucks were sitting with fresh produce that started to rot in the 100-degree temperature. I mean, you're a grocer in St. Louis, you're a grocer in Chicago, you're a grocer in Louisville, Kentucky, you're in Memphis, Tennessee, you're in Atlanta, you're you're a food distributor all over Texas, and all this product is rotting inside trucks waiting to cross the border because the border guards are clearing these trucks, but a mile in or half a mile in, the Texas Highway Patrol is stopping every single truck for a full and detailed inspection. Like that takes a half an hour per truck. Really? I mean, talk about the stunt of all stunts. And yet these guys are heroes. These governors are heroes because after all, when you bring in a truck of food, you know there are 500 illegal immigrants hiding inside it. I mean, come on, that's what the fallacies are just ridiculous, and the reasoning of these people, and all it is it's a fight between states and the federal government. That's all it is. It's a pissing match between state governors and the United States federal government. That's what exactly it is, and I call that treason. You're up against the people of the United States of America. It's one state against the other 49 for the so-called, well, we're stopping illegal aliens. States don't stop illegal aliens. The federal government's job is to stop that. States are supposed to run their state's affairs and deal with it. But the rules, schmools. Let's break all the standard rules. And $5 billion of damage has already been caused to the United States economy from the idiot in Texas already. Who's paying the bill? Are Texans paying the bill? Is the governor of Texas going to have to get a bill for $5 billion? How's that going to happen? I really am amazed by the utter idiotness of some of these guys. But welcome to 2022, kids. Self-inflicted wounds are the most effective damage you can make to your economy. You can just stab yourself all you want. And don't come crying to me because, oh, our inflation rate is higher. Oh, we're losing jobs. Oh, you want to blame Mexicans for that because your own governor is screwing up your own economy? God bless Texas, you guys. Knock yourselves out. Re-elect this moron all you want. It's just, we on the outside are just going, really? How stupid are you people down there? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Look, you can vote for whomever you want. You're Americans. You can vote whatever moron in you want. You're Americans. But when the problems line up and pile up, don't be blaming Canada. Don't be blaming Germany. Don't be blaming the Russians. Don't be blaming the Chinese. These are self-inflicted wounds. And man, no one is stopping this stuff. It just blows my mind. This DeSantis guy in Florida, what's with this guy? Can't wait for him to run for the United States presidency. Oh man, the attacks on this guy are going to be legendary. SNL is going to have the greatest season of all time. Saturday Night Live is going to have the greatest season of all time during the election years coming up. The parodies are going to be phenomenal. The comedy is going to be great. And Sarah Palin is trying to run for Congress in Alaska. Oh, this is a gift heaven sent. We could get Tina Fey back on SNL to do cameos. Oh, couldn't ask for better comedy. Those of us around the world, we loved it when she was the candidate for vice president. That was the most wonderful time. The good old days. Can't wait for the good old days to come on back. Crazy. Because, Canadian politicians, we're boring up here. We really are. Canadian politicians, we're just boring. We don't have a Saturday Night Live we can watch in Canada like you guys have in the States. It's just not the same. We have our Liberal government and the NDP government forming an alliance to not have a non-confidence vote topple the government for the next 3 years. So it's going to be so boring up here. All this legislation just comes to the floor and gets passed, and the budget is done in a week, and healthcare will be revamped, and infrastructure bills will pass, and it's boring as hell because we buy our gas for more than you pay, but no one protests about it, and the highways get fixed, and the bridges get rebuilt, and healthcare gets paid for, and it's a national right, and it's a snooze fest up here. I mean, it's just thank God we've got some Canadian comics to kind of make fun of ourselves, but other than that, it's boring as hell up here. What can I say? I don't know. It just defies logic sometimes. But hey, Bruce, leave your opinions to yourself. You're a left wing kook. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Whatever. You're welcome to your own comments. Whatever you like. Whatever you think. It's up to you. You're the ones living in it. I don't know how I don't know how Americans tolerate it. I don't know how do they take it like that. Well, then again, others don't, and that's the sad part because we see all of this other stuff going on. It's just wild. It's wacky. I don't know. Just scary stuff. Anyway, here we are. Welcome all. Bruce, I barely tolerate it. There you go. What can I say? The true knowledge is the fact that you know nothing. Of course, I don't know what I'm talking about. Thank you, says Cody. Just smile and wave. Uncle Bruce stirring the pot on Monday, get us off to a roaring start for the week. I want to wake you guys up. You guys have been just eating all this fatty food over the weekend. You're getting lazy and fat. You've had extra days off. It's time to get going. You got to start trading the market or make money. No, we're loving it. I just stick to my head. I just stick my head in the sand. There you go, Mama babe. Oh my gosh. I was watching the first half of the movie, The Big Chill. Love that movie from, I guess, 1980, I don't know, 82. Some phenomenal actors in that movie, Klein and Jeff Goldblum and JoBeth Williams and of course Kevin Costner's body at the beginning of the movie. He was the corpse. You never saw his face. Anyway, I found that an interesting movie because it's a coming of age movie. It's a group of 30-somethings who are now mid 30s to 40s, realizing life is precious, and they lost one of their best friends who killed himself, and what's going to happen, and why did he do that, and all the pressures of life. And I thought, wow, you thought 1982 was fun. Look what we got waiting for you 40 years from now. Wait till you get to 2022. You want to talk about pressures of life? Oh, we got it coming up. Oh my gosh, so much fun. Anyway, I found that interesting. And then, of course, watching the 1969 Beatles documentary, and I remind myself what the world was like in 1969. If you look up Google, you'll find that man landed on the moon in July 1969 when the Beatles were doing their Get Back album and Abbey Road album, and then they broke up. Paul McCartney got married in 69. Oh gosh, the tragedy of it. But there were all kinds of other problems in 1969. There were riots all over the United States. I believe Bobby Kennedy had already been assassinated in 68, as had Martin Luther King. And so down at the core of Baltimore, Philadelphia, Chicago, Detroit, and many other cities were burned out. Riots in LA from the African-American problem. I mean, the Vietnam War protests were just exploding. It wasn't a pretty time. It wasn't pretty at all. But if you go to Google, you might get waylaid by the good versus the sad. And I was 14, turning 15 going that next year. I still remember that crazy world at the time. And I remember in my dad's music store, which was a microcosm of what was happening in the world. I had, I worked with my father part-time, and vacuumed the floors and polished the glass and dust the guitars and watch and listen, just shut up and watch. And here come these customers into my dad's music store, and it's the wave of guys that had been inspired by the Beatles in 64 from Ed Sullivan. This is 69. This is 5 years later. There are still these 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 24, 25-year-olds coming into this store who, they had long hair or growing it out. They had the bell-bottom jeans, and they had the tie-dye shirts and all that stuff, the big platform boots and stuff, wanting to be, their version of what it is they were going to become. And these guys were trying to figure out what they were doing with themselves. And some of them had the support of friends and family and relatives, and others were the black stain on the family. I mean, this young man was supposed to go to the college wherever to become a lawyer or an accountant like dad was, and he wanted to find himself. Well, that is wrong. And he's growing facial hair and he's got the hair going down, and parents are disowning him and they don't want anything to do with him anymore because they've just given up because they can't get this kid to do what they want him to do. They had all these guys coming through the store every day. And I'm on the front line of this. At 14, 15, I'm watching this. And of course, 69 was Woodstock. I saw that. I saw what everyone saw what Woodstock looked like, again, from photos and images. And then the movie came out in 1970 and the albums. And I was blown away that 250,000 kids would show up on a farmer's field in New York. That was 300 miles from where I live, not far away. Never seen it like that before. That no one had seen it like this before. It was incredible. The world was really changing from 64 to 69, big time. The beginning of the Beatles, when we found out about it was 64, to this point when they were breaking up. And by 70, it was all over for the Beatles, as far as they were as a group. And then it obviously it went on and on and on from there. But what a world. What a world. Here we are in 2022, and we are continuing this revolution and evolution of everything. I mean, it's just amazing. And now it's at light speed because of these and the internet and what have you. But it is amazing to me, as restrictive as it was in 1969. If you wanted to find out what was happening in Moscow, you couldn't find out what was happening in Moscow. I, as a 15-year-old kid, could not find out what 15-year-olds in Moscow were thinking. I could only find out what the state media wanted me to see, what Moscovites were thinking. That's all I had. And had been that way since the 50s and would stay that way for quite some time longer. And here we are today in 2022. And I will bet you there are 15-year-olds in the US and 15-year-olds in Russia who have no idea what each other is thinking about. Whether they want to or not is irrelevant, but they have no way of knowing because of the state media having taken over everything in Russia again. Because now, you even in any way want to protest the war that Russia's into, like Americans protested the Vietnam War against their government. If anyone in Russia wants to protest the Ukrainian war just the way our generation, although I wasn't a protester in 1969, but kids, 20-year-old kids, 25-year-old kids in 1969 were protesting the USA involvement in Vietnam. If any of that kind of protest was happening in Russia today, instantly going to jail. I mean, instantly, immediate 15-day behind bars, and then the charges are coming, and you're not getting out for years. And in some case, 10 years, a minimum jail sentence for any kind of protest regarding the war itself. I mean, just think about that. Now, what if Russia institutes the draft? If they bring in their own draft later this year because of the troop requirements they need down there, because it's a quagmire, what happens then? How many Russians protest? How many have already left the country on the guise of a holiday and they're not coming back? I can imagine that there are a ton of Russians who have already left the country. We've heard about it from Finland's point of view and elsewhere. Amazing, absolutely. So it's scary. And of course, the youngest and the brightest, who can make $100,000 a year as IT programmers and software creators. You think they're going to stay in Russia and get drafted into that thing? Are you kidding me? I think they're headed to Istanbul and elsewhere within the European Union, and they're not going back. And they're going to live a reasonably nice lifestyle, finding out from their friends who stayed behind just how ugly it is. The world is not changed in a way. It's still the same. And what's amazing to me is in 2022, being my old age now, how impossible it is to get the straight story out of places like Russia and Myanmar, China, North Korea. These places still exist. These shut-in, militarized, restrictive societies still thrive in this world in 2022. It's incredible. And then don't get me started about women's rights, which are still being trampled on all over the place in 2022. It just, I'm amazed. I am just shocked by it, because I would have thought, I was thinking that this invention and everything this invention can now do, and what it will do in the next 10 years, I figured this would be the great equalizer, because this would be the instrument, and all the iterations of this, laptops, iPads, everything. I thought this would be the one invention that mankind will adopt that will give us all self-empowerment of knowledge. And we would have the ability to make up our own minds. And as a society, we would collectively go, that's wrong, that's BS right there, that's real, that's legit, blah, blah. And yet we're more fragmented than ever within our own country. Wow, just that is the mind blower to me, where I'm going, holy moly, it is wild what is not working, and how bad off it is. Anyway, what can I say? It never stops, and it is the world which you live in. I think a lot of what I'm telling you, you already know. You don't even need me to tell you. But you know what? What I've seen from 69 to now, as I kind of, the awakening for me was when I turned 14, 15. That was my big awakening, which is probably for many of you, when you hit your mid-teen years, later teen years, become a 20-year-old, you're waking up to the world in which you're in and figuring out where you're at, where you fit, and kind of what you're about. And if you want to make changes, tighten your bootstraps and do it. But don't come crying to me that someone else is going to do it for you. You make your world better by making your world better yourself. It's amazing to me what I discovered as I grew up, the world in which I was in, now the world I'm in today, and the world that my daughter is in, who's going to be 34 this year. Looking at her world and thinking what I was thinking of when I was 34, now watching what she's thinking about as she's turning 34. Whoa. And I think about my father turning 34 in 1963, the world my father was in 1963, having survived the war as a 15-year-old boy. At the end of the war, now he was in his 30s. Wow, that's unbelievable. So I think about, when you get older, you do this. You get older, you think about what your parents were like at the age you were at then, what you were like, and now your child. So now I can go 33 for my child, 33 for me, 33 for my father. And I'm just going, holy macaroni. And my grandfather, who was 33 in 1933, what was his world like? And his father's father, I don't even know if he made 33, but yeah, things have changed in each year, and then there's so much that's still the same. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, welcome back. Welcome to Monday, a quiet day. We're down 19 on the Dow, down 8 on S&P, we're down 33 on NASDAQ. We're up $1.40 on crude right now. Getting ready to open it up here in a few minutes, 2 minutes away. Uncle Bruce, I bought back a Twitter $50 covered call expiring May 20 for $75 profits. So should I run another cover call this morning for a 50 strike expiring 123 for an $8 profit, or think I should sell the stock and break even on the investment? Well, I believe I was led to believe that the shares are going higher this morning. Am I correct on that? Twitter, let's see, where have I got the quote here? I think I had the quote up on Friday, so just hang on a second here. I'll just take a look at it. We're getting ready to open up in a minute. So let me get my thing going here. Let's see if I can make all this other stuff disappear on my phone. There we go. Twitter, there we are. TWTR. Twitter closed at 45.08. It's 46.43 now. And so it's up $1.43. There's a poison pill thing coming up. They say No one else has stepped up to try to buy these guys at this point, nothing official. I would imagine that anyone else who wants to buy Twitter will talk to the board and look for a friendly merger, takeover, whatever, rather as opposed to Musk's take it or leave it offer. So if you're thinking of writing a call, let's see, write another call for a $50 strike expiring January 23 for an $8 profit. I like that deal. I mean, I like that deal. If you write a 50 and bring in $800 for 100 shares, you're guaranteed $58 if you get taken out, and you don't mind getting taken out. On the other hand, if the stock stays under 50 and the deal collapses, that there's not going to be a takeover, it goes down to 38, 40 bucks. You can probably buy this thing back for $2. Say, thank you very much. May I have another? I like that deal. I do. I like that arrangement. Something you can certainly look at. You can write a 50 for any month you want, obviously, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, but taking $800, it might be all right. Might be worth more than that this morning. Keep an eye on that option chain as we open up. We're opening higher. It could open up even stronger. Quite cool. Interesting stuff. What else is going on? Let's see. Not Larry Titus. Have you seen my bell? Titus, we're open, my friend. Thank you for ringing the bells, buddy. I appreciate it. We're here. We're here. Nice to have you. Nice to have you all joining me today. We're up 25 points on the Dow to start the morning. A minute into this session, I've got Twitter at 46.15, up $1.07. Sixter up a penny. Rocket Lab down 13 cents. I got SoFi unchanged at the moment. 1.49 million, 726. No changes yet. GameStop 150.94, up 17 cents. Opening volume on GameStop 33,300. Absolutely nothing. AMC 17.98 down 4 cents. Matterport down 15 to 6.79. ME 351 down a nickel. Spire 188 unchanged. Hycroft Mining down 8 cents. ATIP down 3. SmartRent up 8 at 5.16. Pfizer down 16 cents to 52.96. Hewlett Packard up 27 to 37.74. Robinhood 11.34 down 4. Panic Vectors down 27 cents. Home Depot up 34. IBM up 40. Microsoft down a nickel. Apple down 96 cents to 164.33. Goldman down 11 cents. Cisco down 19. Facebook down a quarter, down 23 cents, I guess. Amazon up $19. Tesla up 7. Google up 7.30. Bed Bath Beyond up 11. BlackBerry down 4 cents. Royal Caribbean down $1 to 81.55. There you go. Not a lot yet, and not a lot expected. We're showing a gain of 90 on the Dow right now. I'm really not expecting a big move either way today. I'm actually surprised we're up. I'm actually surprised the Dow is even green at the moment. We're up 4 points on S&P. It looks like down 1.5 on Nasdaq. Now up 0.17 on Nasdaq. We're flat. Oil is up $1.46 to 108.41. Gold is up $22 an ounce. There you go. That's the latest. That's the latest and the greatest at this point in time. Let's see. Hello, NSB. How you doing, guys? Welcome, all of you. Here, the board of the Twitter is acting so weird on this bid. Wanted to bang a hammer, say sold. Look, the theory is that theoretically, board of directors is supposed to act in the best interest of all shareholders. If you get an offer that says $54 an hour, $54 a share, take it or leave it, you have to leave it because you have to open up the floor to anybody else that wants to come in here. And putting a $45 billion offer together isn't necessarily a nickel and dime transaction. You got to give it a month. You've got to, if the company is for sale, let's see who the best bidder is for this deal. Twitter has to say, look, under the right circumstances, we might be available. We might be interested in selling ourselves off. We're not going to take the first offer that comes along with a deadline on it. Screw that. We don't need it. We're an independent organization that wants to keep on growing ourselves out. We think we can be worth 60 billion, 100 billion down the road, just doing what we're doing. We don't need to close up shop. We're not in technical default of our debts. So what the hell? But if somebody wants to buy us out, that might be a better offer. Well, let's give it a month to see if another better offer comes in. And it's possible that as this week rolls on, next week rolls on, there might be a friendly merger announcement between company whatever and Twitter. And it might well be that it's the kind of an announcement that comes in at $58 a share. Maybe it's an all stock deal. Maybe it's a cash and stock deal. The board might recommend it. Mr. Musk has to decide whether he wants to take the offer himself, because he does own 10% of the stock, or counter it. Or will there be a third party? Because if a second party comes in called XYZ, another party called ABC might say, oh, no, we're going to buy it. If these guys are interested in buying it, we're interested in buying it. We don't want those guys to have that. We're better off having it. So now you got this media war going on. Now that improves the value of all media together. That changes all the dynamics. Now we've got all that to worry about. So don't be surprised if this next month, 2 or 3, really causes a big kerfuffle in the media business globally. All of a sudden, YouTube creators are more valuable in the eyes of the outside world because they have eyeballs, followers. I don't know. Maybe not this one, but we'll see. Okay. I'm just waiting for the motion ocean so I can write some options. There you go. Let's see. Uncle Bruce opened. Uncle Bruce, market opened while you were answering, and I saw Twitter go down, so I changed my ask to 605, and it triggered $50 strike for Jan 23, and they gave me 605. I've already made $70. My cost is $46. Well, there you go. Don't need to be in a hurry on thing like this, but hey, whatever works. Right on. No way Twitter board allows Elon to take control freely. There you go. They won't if they don't want the SEC looking at them in court. Cindy, SoFi maybe, is offering 3% back on their credit card, still hitting all-time low. Hope it takes off soon. Yeah, Cindy, you're going to see all kinds of marketing from SoFi. I mean, from deposits, in your account, they'll pay you interest. Now the credit card things, they'll probably have 15 different credit cards coming up with points for air miles or air points or airline arrangements and all kinds of regional cards. There'll be all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Corinne. Yeah, but the price hasn't really changed in like 10 years aside from the COVID inflation market. So 54 shares, the best interest shareholder, Bama. Charles Schwab missed its earnings. JP looks like they're still embroiled too. There you go. Where are we at now? The Dow up 118. I am surprised, shocked. Nah, surprised a little. Do I see a 500-point gain today? Not calling for that. We'll see. We're up 10 on S&P. We're up, not even up. We're up 1.9 on NASDAQ. We're not going anywhere on NASDAQ. NASDAQ is doing what I figured it would do. Nothing. That's what I figured. The Dow, okay, it's only 30 stocks. Whatever it's doing. Okay. Round and around we go. Twitter down 6 cents. Xterra down 13. Rocket Lab down 17 to 825. SoFi at 704 down 22. Another all-time low, I bet you. 701. Yep, just touching 701, 702 right now. All-time low on SoFi. 5.1 million traded. Unbelievably stupid by sellers. Really dumb. I was speculating this weekend with one of my viewers, one of my favorites. I had a few one-on-ones this weekend, and one of the one-on-ones I had, the topic of SoFi came up, and I went into a bit of a what do I think has been going on with SoFi tirade or explanation, however you want to call it. And I was talking about how SoFi might be a victim of its own self at the moment, as far as the stock goes. Right now, $6.99 on your SoFi, by the way. It's just a bargain. So a quick recap, SoFi was its own private bank or bank wannabe fintech company. And they had already applied for their charter. They were trying to take over Golden Bank, over it's called Golden Pacific. And they were, they had SoFi Stadium already, and they were moving along. On the other side, there was a SPAC, and the SPAC and SoFi made a deal. Let's merge together. Let's get SoFi to take us out. But what SoFi was able to do, because of the hot market we had a year and a half ago on SPACs, it got to the point where many of you noticed a year and a half ago that a lot of SPACs would go public at $10 each, and you saw the shares of these SPACs in a number of cases go double, triple. There were a number of electric vehicle companies, trading at really high premiums. We saw what happened with DraftKings when they did their deal. That went to $60 a share. There were a lot of SPACs out there, dozens and dozens that were 12, 15, 20, 30, 35 a share right after their mergers. And what SoFi was able to do, and God bless them for it, was SoFi had such a following on Wall Street from investment bankers that wanted to talk to them about doing an IPO. But when SoFi decided to do the SPAC arrangement instead, a lot of these investment banking firms were happy to bring to the table clientele with 5 million, 10 million, and up chunks of monies to go into a pipe financing deal. And so SoFi at $10 a share raised over $2.5 billion going public with this $10 deal, because the SPAC had been underwritten with $300-400 million cash in the bank. Now another $2 billion plus is raised at $10 a share through Wall Street. And what those on the inside knew, but the street didn't know. But what I can report to you now, and have been for a few months, is the fact that these outfits that put money in at $10 a share on pipe financing, they were putting money in on dozens of deals at the same time, because aggressive hedge fund players, investment groups, where they were raising 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, 500 million, a billion. There are hundreds of hedge funds out there, private investment hedge funds with hundreds of millions of dollars apiece. They were looking for returns, and they couldn't get returns from bonds because interest rates were nothing. The U.S. Treasury was paying 1.25%. They couldn't put the money into German bonds, paying negative. They couldn't put it into other deals. There was just no yields. But what was hot was, apart from IPOs, which some opened up really strong, but many didn't, and these guys couldn't get in with enough stock, where they could put money in would be through Wall Street brokerage firms into SPACs, through pipe financing avenues. And so the SoFi company and Rocket Lab and ME and Matterport, and Spire, and hundreds of others of SPACs, they were attracting anywhere from 100 million, 200 million, 500 million to multi-billions of dollars of money from these very aggressive hedge funds who had a simple mentality. It was really simple. Volume solves all problems. And so if we buy into 50 different SPACs at $10 a piece and help fund them with additional pipe financing cash on top of the cash they're already getting just on the merger, we are guaranteeing the success of this issue, because these companies are going to be well funded financially with a lot of dough. They'll have no debt going public, and they're into new cutting businesses that have real potential. And the thinking was that FANG stocks had gone nuts for 5 years or longer, and were way overpriced. All kinds of other growth stocks had come out, like the Cathie Wood's Innovation Fund stocks that she's invested in, 60 of the up-and-coming companies. The chip stocks were hot. They're all way up there in price. These guys were thinking, well, we'll become ground floor investors at $10 into pipe financing deals, And we'll make money like the guys are making money over at DraftKings, because DraftKings was a SPAC. And not only did they raise their money through the SPAC and the PIPE financing, now DraftKings was coming to the market to raise additional cash to take on additional competitors. And they had no trouble raising $1 billion on a bond offering here, $1 billion over here, $1 billion over there. DraftKings was growing leaps and bounds, and the stock was $60 a share. And the SPAC investors, these PIPE investors, are saying, SoFi, oh my God, this is going to be a win for us. We're going to buy into this $10 fintech group. And they got their name on the stadium in Los Angeles. They're going for their bank charter. They're going to get it. And they're going to become the Amazon of fintech banking. We're going to be sitting on a $100 stock months from now. Months after we do the deal, this thing's going to go nuts, because every investment analyst out there around the world is going to recommend SoFi to investors because of the phenomenal potential of this fintech banking company. And with this amount of cash that we're putting into it, a couple of $billion on top of the bank charter and all the other stuff they're doing, I mean, this thing is going to be a real going concern, because the market was a going concern a year ago, and it hit its all-time high in November. The problem and the issue that came up for every SPAC out there, no matter what the SPAC was, were the changes required from the SEC. When the SEC decided to change the rules for every SPAC ever made, that now you had to literally restate your financials, and you had to count as a liability all the warrants outstanding. These guys at the SEC made every SPAC company probably spend $1 million or more in legals and new accounting and filing fees to restate everything and to write off everything up front as a loss to protect investors. Well, what that did, of course, was collapse the SPAC market by half at least right off the get-go, costing all investors around the world hundreds of billions of dollars in losses. That's the first thing the SEC managed to do by protecting the very investors that were getting hosed by these rule changes. In the meantime, you're talking about these hundreds of aggressive hedge fund investing groups that are involved in hundreds of different SPACs to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars collectively, complete. Because we kept hearing about in 2019 and in 20 and in 21, how many hundreds of billions of dollars was represented by SPAC financing versus IPO financing. The Wall Street guys, who used to have the entire IPO market to themselves, and they could pick and choose which companies would go public so that they could control the entire process, including who gets to buy stock on the IPO and who can then buy stock on the open market at double or triple the price of the IPO. These guys now had competition. These investment bankers now had the SPAC market to compete against. And the best way to compete against the SPAC market is to go to the SEC, spread rumors through them, and lobby them through your lobbyists to make it look like SPACs are the worst thing an investor could invest in, and convince SEC regulators to make up all kinds of rules to restrict the financing of SPACs. In effect, the SEC is saying to retail investors like you guys watching me here today that you're better off buying an IPO stock than buying a SPAC, because an IPO has been vetted through a brokerage firm. It's much more restrictive as to what the company can talk to you about how much they think they can make next year. And there's more due diligence that way. There's much more disclosure for you. The problem, of course, is if you're lucky enough to even be offered the chance to buy into an IPO, you get to pay 40, 45, 50 bucks a share for a company that has a book value of 10 bucks. And if you don't get those shares, you're able to now buy the stock on the open market when it gets called for trading after all the road shows and all the hype on CNBC and Fox Business and all the other business shows, all the hype that stock has been given, it starts trading on the open market at double, triple, quadruple what they were just underwritten at yesterday. And that's where you're allowed in to buy up these $200 stocks that were underwritten at $65 that are worth $10. And that, the SEC has determined, is the safest route for you and your money. And the fact that you are investing in SoFi at 12 or 14 or $15 a share after they raised $2.5 billion bucks at 10, that is considered risky behavior. And we got to put a stop to that. And we've got to make that much more regulatory. We have to put on way more restrictions for these SPACs. And that's to protect the investor. And so what ended up happening when all this got done, this is all happening sort of simultaneously here as the markets are hitting record highs. Despite all of these restrictions, a stock like SoFi still managed to go to $25 twice. The first time, and then back to 15, and then 25 a second time. And every time the shares broke 15 a share, 18 a share, 20 a share, 22, what was happening was more and more of the stock that was purchased by pipe financiers would be releasable, weren't restricted anymore. And as each month went by, more shares would be released after the first 90 days, 180 days, and so on. Standard SEC practices, nothing new here. And so what began to happen was there were winners and losers in the SPAC market. And we began to notice how many SPACs that did their deals, the reverse takeovers, got their pipe financing, now had to reinstate financials. And some of these stocks slumped very quickly into the $5 to $10 neighborhood. Many of them, hundreds. And then we had hedge funds out there, hundreds of them, who needed to get money out of these investments to pay off obligations, because every hedge fund can make whatever deal they want with their donators, whoever wants to finance into these things. So if I'm running a hedge fund and I go to 25 billionaires and I convince each of these guys to give me $100 million with no strings attached, except that I charge them a 2% management fee and I give them 20% of whatever profits I make, or 80% of profits I make. I get 20%, I charge them a 2% fee. They get 80% of the profits paid out once a year. But they don't have any way to take their money back for at least 5 years. I got a 5-year window to now make money with their money. But that's not how all hedge funds work. Hedge funds are run the gamut. There are some hedge funds that guarantee these investors a dividend payout, an investment payout, maybe an interest rate of 1% every 3 months, and or profits made. Some of these guys have an anniversary window where I put 100 million in today. A year today, I can take half out, and a year after that, I can take the other half out at my discretion. And I've got to give you 90 days notice that I want out. So in 9 months, I'm telling you whether I want out of half my money or not. Well, these hedge fund operators had deals running the gamut from A to Z going on here with trillions of dollars. And some of these guys started getting the, I want to get some of my dough out notifications, because these billionaires are watching what the SEC is doing to SoFi and what it's doing to Gamestop, to Matterport and ME and all the other SPACs. The 600 SPACs out there are getting crushed under the SEC rule changes. And so hedge funds are going, I want to take the dough off the table, which means that these hedge fund operators who are sitting on 50 different SPAC deals that they put together They bought $10 million of 50 different SPACs, 500 million bucks into pipe financing. They got to get out now $100 million every 6 months they need in cash to pay off these guys. Well, you got to sell what you got to sell. So the first thing you're going to sell is what you're making money on. Well, Matterport come to mind. Does Rocket Lab at $15 a share sound familiar? SoFi, $25 twice. If you're only allowed to sell 20% of your SoFi, okay, you put in $10 million worth of SoFi at $10 a share. You got 1 million shares, and you're allowed to sell 200,000 of your 1 million shares of SoFi, and they're trading at between $20 and $25. You're going to sell your stock. You're going to bring in your $4.5 million. It isn't the 10 million you put in, but it's 4.5 of the 10 at a profit. You still got 800,000 left. You're waiting for another release a few months later to sell another chunk of stock. But you're doing this across a number of your SPACs. You're trying to sell the winners first to take the first $100 million in withdrawals off the table. But the problem is that they can't raise $100 million, $4 million at a time. They don't have 25 winners that are each worth $5 million a piece or $4 million a piece to get the 100 million together. So they're selling the $20 winners, the 18s, the 16s, the 14s, the 12s, the 11s, the 10s. They're selling 10 and over all they can to raise 100 million bucks. In the meantime, they're trying to raise more money from other investors to replace money from the guys who want out, and some were successful, some were not. And this is the beginning. A year ago, this started a year ago. And then we find out we now know that the rules kept changing and changing. The financials would come out, and some SPACs had great financials, some SPACs did not. Some SPACs began to slump in price, and now we had 80% of the SPACs out there trading under $10 a piece. And the cash calls kept coming because the billionaires are paying attention to what we're paying attention to. And so here comes another bunch of withdrawals for another whole bunch of money. And these guys are selling again. Now they're selling anything at 10 or over, anything they can find. And now they're selling at 8 and over. Now they're prepared to lose money because they need to raise cash. And the pressure is on. Well, certain stocks could not handle any kind of selling. It would just collapse their market quickly. And we found, like Spire, was trading at $15 a share, and next thing you know, it's trading at $5, and then it's at $4, and then it's at $3. And we're asking, what's going on? They just made a merger offer with these guys in Canada. What's going on with that? How come that deal didn't help the stock? And on the questions. We're asking a million questions at the same time. No answers. No company can speak because they can't talk about it. SoFi cannot halt their market and tell us that 15 of their investors have cash calls and they must sell 1 million shares each of SoFi to cover their cash calls. They can't do that. That is not their business. It's the investors' problems. Investors have their own problems. SoFi has its challenges. And so stock keeps coming out, and this is happening every week, every month, every quarter. It's been going on now for almost a year. What I'm waiting for is the fact that in the case of SoFi, for example, they've done all their business deals. They got their bank merger, their charter, and all that stuff, and they've done a few takeovers. And I am waiting for the point of equilibrium, the point where the SoFi sellers have sold all they're going to sell. They've run out of paper. There will come a point in time because of SoFi's volumes. Keep in mind, SoFi's trade 11 million already today. It's a no problem deal. No big deal around here when 30 to 50 million shares of SoFi trade every day. It's not a problem around here. And so as long as SoFi has those kinds of volumes, that's telling me that big chunks of stock that are being offloaded are being absorbed by this market. Sure, they're trading now down to the 706 range from the 11, 10, 11, 12 range and higher, of course, but they're still trading 30, 40, 50 million a day. That's 200 plus million a week in liquidity of SoFi. There comes a point in time after 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 20 weeks, so many weeks go by at 200 to 250 million a week of volume turnover where stock runs out from where it's coming from, because it's coming from a source. It's like a melting glacier. Eventually the glacier runs out and there are no more waterfalls to watch, no more rivers coming down the mountain anymore. It's dried out. And that is what I'm waiting on for SoFi, Rocket Lab, Matterport, 23andMe, Spire, ATIP, all of them. Smart Rent. We're waiting for them all to dry out. And the good news about SoFi is they continue to add new clients every quarter. They continue to get larger every quarter. Their student loan debt used to be their number one product, is now shrinking dramatically because the other products are growing dramatically, multiple other products. And so the student loan portfolio is a smaller smidgen of the entire company. And if the government in the United States is seriously going to give forgiveness to student loans to a certain amount of money, whether it's the first 10 grand you ever borrowed in the last 10 years is given back to you, or the first 10 grand you owe right now is paid off on your behalf by the government, and the next 10 or 20 grand you can write off in advanced tax write-off. Who knows what the combination, whatever it is, it can be minimal, it can be the whole thing, trillions of dollars in debt, whatever it is. SoFi is going to get a big fat check from the government of the United States. They're going to get one of those checks that says, those 5,000 loans out there, they're all paid off. Those 5,000 loans here, they each get 10 grand. And here's a check for the whole enchilada. And, here's $2 billion. SoFi is going to get a big, giant cash injection from the United States government, as will Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and everybody else. All the loan operators out there are quietly saying to the government, oh, this would be a great idea. Yeah, it would be wonderful if you could forgive all students their loans and just pay us out, because they get paid in full. These guys aren't stupid. They love this deal. For SoFi, it could pop the market by doubling it, because the minute that the stock market figures out, wait a minute, SoFi had $4.5 billion in student loans outstanding. Now they're down to $2 billion in student loans outstanding. They're getting a check for $2.5 billion in cash. They can use that money to enhance their credit card department, their brokerage department, their loans department for automobiles or mortgages or home improvement loans or lines of credit. This opens up SoFi to a whole other level, because this is a huge cash injection. Could SoFi decide that we're going to take $1 billion of that $2 billion and we're going to do a stock buyback? They could announce a stock buyback. They might come back to us and say, we have 800 million shares out there, whatever the number is. We're going to buy 40 million shares this year, or we're going to put $300 million into a stock buyback fund for this year. And from time to time, we're going to buy our own stock back. Just the sheer knowledge that that is on the table will, one, stop anyone from wanting to sell the stock. If you're a hedge fund, you're not going to try to sell SoFi now. I mean, if you need to raise $20, $30 million, you're going to go back to your investors and say, hey, listen, we just got this press release on SoFi. We still own 5 million SoFi shares. They were trading at $7 yesterday when Bruce was talking about this. These guys are going to buy $300 million of the stock. Stock's already at $850. You still want to take out money on your hedge fund? Because the fund, our value is rising dramatically here. They may find that half of their clients say, forget about taking the money out, we'll leave it in. All of a sudden, this hedge fund doesn't need to raise another $40 million. They need to raise $20 million. And they're not going to sell SoFi to do it because the stock is going to immediately run higher. There'll be a lack of selling from hedge funds. Those who've gotten out got out. And the demand for the stock will skyrocket because now people will go, oh, wow, gee, these guys are going to make a ton of money on this $2 billion coming in because it's higher interest rates. They're charging 7-8% for this money. That's what they're going to charge for this $2 billion. Hey, hello, that's $150 million in interest revenue coming into SoFi. That wasn't coming because everything was on moratorium over there. Oh, this is going to be a huge change. Profitability and redo the books and redo all our analyst estimates. Everything, the stock's going to be called a $12, $15, $20 stock. Starts trading at $12, $13. You guys are going to go, oh, I'm a genius. I bought this stuff when it was $7.50. I'm listening to Uncle Bruce. I bought this stuff down here. It's now trading at 15. I'm a genius. Guess what you guys are going to start doing? You're getting ready to write options. Getting ready. I'm going to start writing 20s, 22.50s. Here we go, baby. We're going to start writing options. Here comes the dough the other direction. I'm waiting for the equilibrium to come through. It's either going to be the lack of stock selling because everyone who wanted out got out because there's liquidity in SoFi. And or on top of that, we're going to get the student loan deal clarified once and for all, what's going to really happen. And it might well be that the government of the United States will announce that we're going to forgive $5,000 a year to every student by just giving them $5,000. We're going to give their lender $5,000 a year every year as an installment. You keep making your payments, and we're going to throw $5,000 on top of it until your loan is gone. For say we'll do this for five years. Every student gets $25,000 over 5 years, $5,000 a year. SoFi is sitting there going, we're getting a check for every one of our students for $5,000 a year from the United States government. And we have 100,000 loans or 20,000 loans or whatever the numbers. We're getting this massive amount of money, $100 million a year for the next 5 years, $500 million, or $300 million a year, $1.5 billion, whatever it is. In the meantime, the students are making their payments because they're accelerating the pay down of the loans. The bankers are happy. The students are happier because they're getting, a $5,000 injection, $100 a week towards that debt. Those loans are going down in value dramatically. The taxpayer is paying it knowing that these kids now can borrow this kind of money on something else that creates jobs, like they can buy a car, they can put a down payment on a house, they can buy fridges, stoves, move out of mom and dad's house, create employment. It's just more money in the economy in an indirect way. Then they're the right wingers are going, oh, everyone should pay their own way, and this is ridiculous, it's socialism 101. Think what you want, but at the end of the day, I'm wondering what's going to be good for the stock of SoFi, because I'm greedy. I want my investors and viewers to make money on SoFi. Well, that would do it. That would really jumpstart the stock, and it would instantly take it to 15, and it'll be on its way to 20, because the company will go to profitability so quick. It'll just shock the street. Of course, Bank of America stock will go up. Any other investor and bank stock will go up that is into this. Obviously, they'll all win, but SoFi would really get a cloud lifted from its head. And I can see a whole bunch of mutual hedge fund operators going, don't sell a single share of SoFi. As a matter of fact, buy back as much as you can. We sold this stuff at 9, 10, 11, and 12, sitting at 7. Buy up as much as you can until it gets to 11. But replace it all. Replace it all. Get it all back. Get it all back. Because if it's going to 20, we want to be into the initial block we had at $20 a share again. That's where we really want to be as an investment hedge fund. Yeah, and all of these billionaires and millionaires that put money into these hedge funds, what do you think they're going to do with their personal brokerage accounts? They're going to tell their own investment advisors, well, why don't you pick me up 100,000 of that SoFi or 200,000 or 500,000 of that stuff? Let's buy that up at 7, 8, $9. It's going to 20. Let's pick it up. The United States government checks don't bounce. I love this thing. That stock is gone. That's how it's going to go. That's going to be the outcome of the SoFi stock eventually. The outcome of Rocket Lab might be similar, but not with a student loan repatriation or anything like that. Rocket Labs and Matterports and MEs and Spires and ATIPs and SmartRent, those guys, their shares are going to go up because the sellers ran out of paper. And look, at $1.90 a share or whatever it is now, what we got? Spire 182, ATIP 171. Down here, these shares just are coming in. Hundreds of thousands a day are coming in, and they're being gobbled up. Someone's buying up all this paper for ATIP down at 171, 175, 180. I know some of them are here. Some of those buyers are you guys. You're just buying this stuff up because at 180 a share, with an $11 average, you'd be crazy not to average this thing down. If you believe in ATIP physical therapy centers being busy the next 5 years, you're going to buy the stock down here. Could it be taken out by someone else at $6 a share a year from now? Yeah, could be. But if your average is $4, you don't mind. If your average is $2.50, you don't mind. Spire at $1.82. Look, 5 years from now, that could be $10, $12. They get taken over by Rocket Lab or by Elon Musk SpaceX or whatever. Do you care? You're going to get taken out at 12. You're buying Spire at $1.80. I don't see you crying a lot if this happens. You're going to go, yeah, okay, I'll take that deal because I averaged down to $4.50 on this thing. I'm going to triple my money. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll go that way. Whatever has to happen, happens. I don't know. Anyway, that is the future of SPACs, at least the ones that I'm following. I can't speak for anyone else's SPAC out there. That's impossible. There are 600 plus of them, and there are probably 200 or 300 of them that have not done their deal. They have not had that reverse takeover. Those might get canceled out, and everyone gets their dough back at $10 a share, and these things delist, and we don't hear from them again. That could happen. There might only be 300 SPACs left later this year, next year, that were originally ever created. Ours are so far down the road that they're not going to be reversed back, which means that if Wall Street wants to make money funding companies, takeovers, mergers, acquisitions, expansions, they've just lost 300 companies that they could have gone to help raise cash for. They have to go to the ones who are left. Now, if SoFi comes to Wall Street and says, we want to raise $5 billion of additional cash to expand our loan portfolio in housing, private equity loans, personal loans, car loans, home redevelopment loans, credit card expansions. Wall Street will probably line up at the door of SoFi to say, we got all the money you want. How do you want to do it? SoFi is not going to issue stock at $7 a share to raise $5 billion. They don't need to do that. They can issue notes, non-convertible notes at interest rates that might be half a point higher than the Fed funds rate. Right now, SoFi could raise $5 billion at 3% right now. And they could turn around right now and lend out that $5 billion at 5, 6, 7% easy, between credit cards at 19.9%, personal lines of credit at 7, 8%, car loans at 6, 7, 8%. It's a joke. These guys are going to make a fortune, but you got to get into the stock and pick it off. SoFi, 722, down as low as 698 15 minutes ago when I started this rant. We're now 722 a share. It is a joke down here. Absolute joke. The street does not know of what I speak or is oblivious, hasn't heard it yet, has heard theoretical discussions like that, but don't believe it. I don't know what the problem is, but the opportunity is massive on the upside of SoFi. And there you go. Some of you guys might want to consider buying the $5 call option for next year, 2023. Get in the money, call at 5. Why? Because if the stock goes to 12 to 15, you're going to write poor man covered calls against those $5 contracts. And if you can bring in a $1.50 premium for a 1 month, month and a half contract on a $5 contract, you might have paid $3 for it, $3.50 for it. I don't know how cheap these are, but you might be bringing in premiums against your capital that are just ungodly, phenomenally ungodly. Look at it. Buy the stock at 724. What's wrong with bringing in a $1.50 premium? That's 20% of your investment every month or two. Hello, this is going to make for a couple of good years. But you got to believe. You got to believe. There it is. That's
By
what
the
we're
end of the
talking.
year, you paid for your stock with your option premium.
It's true. But it's true. After 4 or 5 writes, you've made more money per share from option premiums than what you paid for the stock. Hello.
Hello.
Go like that. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Are you being a grumpy old man?
Well,
Normally I can tell when you're being a grumpy old man because your voice rises and I can hear you more throughout the house.
have you been hearing my voice?
No, not really.
Well, I don't know if I've been grumpy. Although some of my non-member viewers, before I went to members only, they were really freaking out because I was criticizing the governor of Texas and the governor of California, the two goofballs.
I don't want to get me started.
Don't get her started. Oh gosh.
And the feminist people, in case you missed that.
Yeah. It's talking about some of the most anti-feminist people in the world. Talk about hating
Not
women.
anti-feminist, anti-women.
Anti-women. I don't know how women vote for these guys.
I don't either.
I don't know why would women vote for these two idiots who are anti-women.
And I personally will not spend $1 on anything associated with Texas.
There you go.
Yeah.
The boycott is on.
The boycott is on.
Yeah, there you have it. So.
Yeah.
Scary.
Does that mean I don't watch Cowboys in the fall? See there, that's where the rubber hits the road, people.
Yeah, you hurt Texas by not watching the Cowboys.
Well, because they get
advertising
revenue
from your eyeballs.
From that, yes.
Okay, I don't know.
All those women's eyeballs.
All those women's eyeballs. Yeah. It's when women boycott Texas and Florida en masse because of the attacks on Disney. Like, there's an anti-family company right there. Like, geez.
I know. And the part
else.
that gets me, okay, just to go on my rant. LGBTQ kids see nothing but heteronormative books, movies, songs, teachings, and yet they still grow up LGBTQ.
True.
So your little straight kid who reads about Johnny and his 2 mommies isn't gonna turn gay because of that. Oh my God. I just want to run my head into the wall.
There's got to be. I got to think that there have to be millions of women between Florida and Texas who are there going. We know how stupid these guys are. It's unbelievable.
Not saying it's like not testing people and saying that our COVID numbers are way down. No, not saying that we're gay doesn't mean you're not still going to have the same percentage of the population.
Jennifer's having a tough time this morning. So that's what I was talking about this morning, hon.
Okay.
Not necessarily this topic, but yeah, I was talking about those 2 guys. Just yikes.
Okay.
What I find incredible is what was it in Atlanta, Georgia, about 3 years ago? I think it was the governor of Atlanta signed some kind of a bill that was perceived as anti-African American, and that the photo op of him signing this thing was him in his desk, surrounded by 5 or 6 of the legislators of the state of Georgia, all white men, with a white governor, signing anti-African American legislation. I just looked at that and went,
yeah, picture tells 1,000 words.
There's the 1700s in glowing detail. All they need is put on the costumes, just put on the clothing from that era, and you could just have a painter paint them and add it to the collection.
I know.
It just blows our minds up here and Europe.
Oh, and don't think for a moment that we don't have racism in this country.
We have it too.
We have it.
We have it too. Yeah, we do have it.
We have lots of prejudices up here.
We do happen to have our finance minister in Canada is a female, and she tolerates nothing when it comes to female rights being trampled.
Yeah.
Nothing.
She is so smart.
She is so
Oh
smart.
my gosh.
She
She's so
likely
smart.
will be our next prime minister if it works out the way it could work out. She could likely be the next prime
Oh, yeah.
minister, and she will get 80% of male voters voting for her.
And she will be our second female.
She will then be our
Prime
second
Minister.
female prime minister. The first one, Kim Campbell, lasted 6 weeks, minority government,
But,
all that
yeah.
stuff.
There's
But
a long
This
story
gal
with
here
her.
could win a majority. She could win a majority hands down across
Yeah.
this country, because just the female vote and half the male vote, automatic, she'll be the majority government, which would be a nice change of pace. But
I don't know. I kind of
Don't
like minorities. I don't like minorities for a long, long time.
yeah, well,
But minorities, that's kind of how
keeps everybody in
democracy
check.
works.
Yeah, keeps it all in check.
Yeah,
By the
you
way,
have to pay attention to
speaking of going down in
Uh-oh.
value, GameStop 144 down $6.
Did you tell them we saw a GameStop store yesterday?
No, I didn't.
A real life brick and mortar GameStop store.
Oh, yeah. Jen and I went out yesterday to a shopping mall, and we were walking along, and we passed the GameStop store.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and she looked at it, and we both went, "Thank you, GameStop, for changing our lives."
There were people in it and everything.
Because I don't discount the fact that GameStop changed my life.
Oh,
Has it ever? And it still does. 144.50 on the GameStop shares. I just want to let you know. 448,000 volumes. So we're down $6 odd. The AMC's down 74 cents right now to 17.28. So
Have you had
Little
anything
pullback.
to eat this morning?
I just had some yogurt.
Oh,
I might need a bagel.
so you might need a bagel.
I might need a bagel. Yeah.
There's a possibility. What are we going to put on it? What haven't you had for a while? Do you want an egg? Do you want ham and cheese? Little Felipe's?
Oh, I just think Cheese Whiz.
Just cheese. Did you tell them what else we saw this weekend?
I got to show you guys something.
He's got a picture.
We went out the other day with our daughter for breakfast, and I took a photo of
We
something.
went to a diner.
I took a photo at a restaurant of something incredible. This will come as no surprise to you that I'm a fan of this, but I thought I'd show you
We've never
guys.
seen this before.
I hadn't seen one of these in years and years and years. Look at this. You can get grape jelly, and you can get
Peanut butter and
peanut
honey.
butter and honey on some of these things. Sorry for the glare. I don't know if I can make this glare go away. Wow, is that ever like overexposed? Look at that. Can you see that? Okay, I
They
can't.
can't see it.
I can't. Here we go. It's a Cheese Whiz packet at the restaurant. Look at that. There you go. It's a Cheese Whiz packet. Oh my gosh! I had to photograph this from the front here. See, Kraft, and it says Kraft Canada at the bottom down there.
Oh,
This is Canadian.
Yeah.
This is Canadian Cheese Whiz. This isn't like American taco topping stuff. There's the bottom of it. That grotesque as that is, cheese food. I didn't have any. I just held this up. I didn't even take it with
didn't
me.
even pocket it.
I didn't even pocket it. I could have pocket 10 of these things. These are just, there we go. These are just the, I said to Jen, you got to get the right photo
we
of me.
have
You
to
got
go to
you got to take the right photo.
a restaurant wholesaler, and then you can take him
Around the world with me?
around the world with Cheese Whiz.
Yeah, but with that foil thing on the front, it'll set the metal detectors off.
No, you put it in your baggage.
No, you don't. No, they'll go nuts.
In a really sealed bag.
They'll rip up that bag going, what's in here? This looks dangerous. They'll take it out going, you shouldn't eat this. It's
I
bad for you.
can't imagine what they see. I
Oh.
can't imagine what people take.
What they find.
Yeah.
Oh, the treats they find inside bags. Somebody, I forgot where this was. I want to say LAX, but I might be dead wrong on this. Was arrested when they discovered, they opened a package or something he had in his luggage. Bat meat. Bat meat.
So that's not meat for your pet bat. That would be meat come from.
Again, I'm assuming it came into the U.S. Now I could be wrong. This could have been coming into Taiwan or could have been coming into Singapore.
Yes, maybe
But
through
some
North
customs
America.
official somewhere stopped, inspected someone's bags, opened it up, and found a package of bat meat. As
Yeah, there
if
used to be that show on TV called border crossing.
Oh yeah, we got that. We
Border
got that.
security.
Yeah, that's on U.S. and Canada.
Yeah.
That's on the Discovery Channel or something. Or is it Home and Garden?
The
I
best
don't
part
know.
is one of the people that was stopped on there. My family knows them.
My family knows them.
And you're like, Larry?
Larry? Is that you, Larry? Oh, Larry.
Larry.
Oh, Larry.
Yeah, so then the old phone lines lit up.
The old family phone lines lit up. I haven't heard from you. Was that cousin Larry?
Yeah,
was that Uncle Larry? Is that Grandpa Larry? Oh, it all depends on where in the family you are. We're not surprised to see Larry there doing that. Oh yeah, he was a turd. Goofball.
That's why family's fun.
Oh, that's why family is so much fun.
Okay, I'm working on a bagel.
Thank you so much, Auntie Jen. Fantastic. Welcome all to the quiet day here. We're only up 74 on the Dow. S&P is up 14. Nasdaq's up 53. I'm surprised they're even up. Oil is up 88 cents to 107. It's a quiet one. What are you going to do? It is what it is. Thank you all for being here this morning. Great to have you. Try to catch up on your comments if I can somehow. I don't know. Nicholas is thumbs up number 155. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for helping out, guys. Bill is saying, I just sold a 140 put on GameStop for this Friday. Got 355. Stock's dropping. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Any thoughts on May 9th Victory Day from Russia? No thought. I have no thoughts on that. SoFi only has a few negatives. The employee purchase program is gamed unfairly for sure. I'm thumbs up number 163, says Miraculous. Good morning. It's snowing here again. I can't handle any more of this. Ours is melting. We're melting off our snow so quickly. Today will be a high of 48. Tomorrow, 41. To Wednesday, 41. Thursday, 43. Friday, 48. Saturday, 46. Sunday, 54. Monday, 59. Tuesday, 57. Oh, bring it back, please. So we're melting. We're melting. Oh my gosh. What else is going on here? Oh my gosh. Good morning, Jen from Duncan. How you doing, Duncan? Good morning, Jen from John Anderson. SoFi touched green, says Tiff. SoFi right now, yeah, it's down 3 cents at 723. We've come back. We've come back from 698. Jen is so awesome, says 99 Nation. She's my hero. Get Cody, get Jen started on that for Republican who wants to revisit the idea of interracial couples, Uncle Bruce. Oh, yes. Here we go. Let's see. Don't look now, but SoFi's green, says John. Uncle Bruce, thoughts on picking up 5 Google with an eye to write options on it, or better yet, get 100 IBM and enjoy the additional dividends. Hockey rink, I also like the idea of buying a call option on Google. If you can afford to buy a call option late this year into next year, even if it's out of the money, you can buy one call. It'll turn into 20 calls. Now you got 20 calls. Now, look, if the stock goes up a little bit because of this run, you could be in the money quickly and make money on this. It's a gamble. I know. I'm just saying. Anyway, I believe GameStop has changed many people's lives. It has. That picture, oh, my new thumbnail. Oh, my God, that glare. Powder your forehead, Uncle B. That chapstick added a youthful glow to your lips, Jennifer. Oh, my God, laughing. Traveling Cheese Whiz salesman. Bobby wrote a May $13, $18 stock against DKNG, 16, third week. I'm in a happy place. Way to go, Bobby. Okay, time for that work thing today. Listen to the background mode engage. See you later today. Thank you, 99. Bobby, Uncle Bruce, are the night temperature in the area near 10? No, they're minus. We're minus 5 Celsius to minus 10 Celsius in the evenings right now. Beach, well, Uncle Bruce, if I have a GameStop 160 written for 52, any thought about a good bid to buy them back? GameStop 144.66 down $6. You just wanna let it back off and just let it back off. All these contracts. Let me take a look here if I can. First of all, April 29's 160s. I know Beach Boys got some of those. Look at that, $4 bid now, down 210. Yeah, that's heading down. I mean, I'd put in a 255 stink bid on that. If they can come that great, that low, even better, because that's where they're going to be later this week. They're dropping that far. July, I believe we're talking about July 160s. 2060 bid, 2060. Last trade, $23, down $3 at a 2060 bid. That's another 240. Looking good. I don't know, Beach Boy, if you want to put in like an 1865 bid or something, you get lucky, they get down that low. Great. Take the. I mean, this is going to stay. It's under pressure. I mean, and we don't even have Europe to add to the misery. This is just, North America trading. 145 a share. Where are we going? Nowhere. Can we go to 140? Yeah. How many volume? 485,000 on GameStop today. I mean, So there you go, Beach Boys. A couple stink bits for you. Rush. They come to you. 144.73 right now, as the stock is under more pressure. The low of the day looks like 144 even, and we could go lower than that. 144.34 right now. We're dropping again. So that puts these contracts, these 160s are now out 1570 a piece, out of the money and falling. 144.24. Put in really nice stink bits. See if you get it. Why not? Super cheap. Thank you very much. Comes back to 150, right 160s again. Whatever. We'll see what's going on. Let's bring in some money. All right. The Dow right now is up 53. It's backed off a bit. Let's try to go back up. We're up 9 on the S&P. We're up 40 on NASDAQ. We're not going anywhere. We're up $1 on oil, 107 right now. Okay. There you go. Way to go, Beach Boy, on that right. I know that right was a rollover, and now it's paying you for your patience handily. And I'll let it pay you a little more. Say thank you very much. May I have another? 144.24 on GameStop. The low of the day, 144. The high of the day, 151.24 today. That's all it could do. That's all it could do today. Nothing more. Okay. Very interesting on this market. It's a nothing day. Oh, Jen, thank you. What's the matter? Uh-oh. We had an issue.
I got bad news for the bagels.
The bagels are growing.
How hard it was to flatten them out and make them look like toast?
The bagels are growing hair and had to be let go. We're going to have to go to Costco, get us some more bagels. So the bagels are growing hair.
in the freezer.
So I'm on. I got rye bread going.
Got the rye toast.
Pretty good second choice.
Look, it's nicely toasted.
Nicely toasted.
See?
Look at that.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can see.
Thank you, Jen. Oh, boy. Well, rye bread was what cheese was. What can I say? GameStop, 144.15. We're dropping again. 144.40. We're jumping around. Okay. Thank you all for joining me tonight, wherever you are. If you're in Europe, it's this afternoon. You're in Australia, it's this evening. Welcome one, welcome all. Fantastic. So good. Love it. Jen is just the sweetest. Pretty good. Boy. Mm, mm. Fabulous. We are now deep into planning our trip coming up to London, Amsterdam, and Switzerland. We're deep into this. Oh boy. Mm. I'm trying to figure out what hotel to stay at in London. We're also looking into another little thing that I've never had to look into before. And because of Jennifer's ailing hip, she can't walk that far at a time. And we don't want to have her in pain, of course. So we're thinking of renting one of those electric scooters. Those little four-wheel jobs, going to tear up London, Soho, and Westminster. Oh, we're going to create havoc. The scooter company will deliver it to your hotel. The rental firm. Pick up and deliver. No problem. Oh boy. So we're looking at a hotel that will accommodate the scooter. I never had to bother with this before. Things change. When you get older, things change. GameStop, 142.92. Down $7 a share now. Almost $8. 142.85, almost $8 lower on the day. Dropping. We need a way to grow this investor group. Maybe a Discord. Maybe that way community is for other cover calls can be pinned up for everyone. We should also have a winning trades board or something. These are all good ideas. Uncle Bruce, I'm number 182 or somewhere there. Thank you, Nick, buddy. Bagel Crisis says, Beach Boy, what is happening with TWTR? Twitter, 46.18 up $1.10. That issue won't go away. People thought, well, if the Twitter's going to adopt a poison pill, the stock's dead in the water. It's up $1.10. Uh-oh. Well, we hit a new low on GameStop. 142.68 has been the low. GameStop wouldn't drop on Friday or on Thursday. Wouldn't drop Thursday. Now it's dropping. Yeah. Oh boy. Any earnings this week? I'm in a gambling mood. We'll find out later tonight, tomorrow. Interesting earnings. Any interesting earnings? We'll watch for that. The Dow's up 61. Twitter's up $1.25. Six Stairs up 2. Rocket Lab's still down 34 cents. SoFi 710. It's been all over the place. It got up to 731 this morning, went down to 698. Then it went back up to 730 something. Now it's at 710, down 17 cents on 20,800,000. That's what SoFi's doing. It's a yo-yo today. GameStop now 143 even, 32 cents higher than the low. Now it's back down again, 142.87. It's 19 cents away from the low of the day. There's pressure at new low, 142.58. New low on GameStop, 142, 142.58, the new low on the day. now on GameStop. Those of you trying to buy back calls on stink bids, you might be getting hit here. Keep an eye. Just sit there. Let's see what's going on. One never knows. 708 on SoFi, under pressure again. The Dow up 78. Won't back off that much. It's up 81 actually. S&P up 11.2. Nasdaq is up 33 points. Oil up 89 cents. And we're just watching the world go around today. No Europe trading today, so it's a quiet day compared to what it normally would be for us. See how all this wants to, work itself out. The market is what it is. At the moment, the big concern is interest rates going forward. The U.S. Treasury, 10-year Treasury is 2.83%. It did reach 2.87%, but now it's 2.83. All the other markets are closed right now for bond trading in Europe. They're all shut down. The euro is at 108. It was 110 about a month ago. It hit 107 overnight for a bit. The pound is 130.2. The British pound is threatening to break 130. But the Bank of England keeps raising its interest rate to stay ahead of inflation, whereas the European Central Bank is not. The European Central Bank does not want to raise interest rates for fear of upsetting their economy. And so what's happening is that the euro is dropping under 108, and it might go to 105, where the pound will hold 130 because they are raising rates like the Americans, and they're playing that game. That could affect the UK economy, of course. But the Europeans are deciding we'll take a lower euro against world currencies to make our products cheaper overseas instead of higher with inflation and a higher currency. So we'll take some of the inflation out of this thing by raising our rates, or not raising our interest rates, keeping our interest rates lower, keeping our currency lower, and that will keep goods cheaper for Americans to buy, but more expensive for Europeans to buy goods from Americans. Go figure. It's the big game going on here. Here it is. Let's see. Okay, Beach Boy, I got the July limit to buy back, and I lowered the April buyback as well, planning on a nice donation. Ho, ho, ho. Thank you, Beach Boy. You're always the best. Way to go, pal. I'm glad to see that the stock is, it's working your direction, and you're being compensated for that buyback beautifully. Absolutely wonderful. And now this new one, you're rolling it back again. Fabulous, man. This is great to see. JJ is saying, I'm thumbs up number 192. Right on, guys. Those of you out there who have written calls, you wrote 160s, 170s, 180s, 190s, 200s. You've written 130s, 125s, 120s, 110s, 100s. The stock has been coming your direction and has started to do it again. If GameStop breaks 140, that'll be a new low since the run-up from $78 to the 200 level. Under 140 will be a new low from that pullback. And that could bring it lower into the low 130s. I don't know about today, but anything is possible. We're down $8 now to 142.31. Who knew we would even do this today? But here it is, 142.31. The volume on GameStop today, 595,000 shares. No support volume to buy, none. That's the deal, 142.67. The low of the day looks like 142.11 is we just said it again. Now we're 142.42. A new low being hit as I speak. More selling coming in. Okay? I'm your daddy. I'm thumbs up number 193. Thank you, guys. Wing Commander 194. Guys, you're awesome. You're helping me hit 200 thumbs ups here on this show. I appreciate it. I see 199. Now I see 200 thumbs ups. You guys are incredible. Thank you very much for throwing those around for us. It really helps the channel. Let's see what else. There's already a Discord for Uncle Bruce. I heard it's very salty, so I have stayed away, says Bobby Atkinson. I don't run the Discord site. I have nothing to do with it. I'm never on it. I'm not part of it. I have a Facebook group page, Stock Markets with Bruce. I do very little on it because I'm not a fan of Facebook for my channel. I put a lot into the Facebook pages over the years, but I just get nothing back. Every time I try to link these shows through Facebook, they put up barriers, and I'm just going, you're not supporting me, I'm not supporting you. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Work for free for you guys? I don't get a dime out of these people. I don't know where the upside is for me on Facebook. I really don't know. The Discord exists. It sucks. Bitter people. There you go. Again, I can't. I don't endorse it. I don't not endorse it. I'm not in any way involved in it. There is a thing. There is a page, Stock Markets with Bruce, on Discord. And on Wall Street Bests. Not Discord, Wall Street Bets and Reddit. There's a Reddit page, Stock Markets with Bruce Reddit page, and my editor had been running that or monitoring it. You might want to look at that. Maybe there's an upside to Meta, Uncle Bruce, laugh out loud. Jennifer, I've heard the Discord is super salty. I'd stay away from those negatives. There you go. Not much I can. Everyone's entitled to their opinion on what's going on, and that's it. Discord keeps it real, says Rumble. Right on. Whatever works for you, people. If it works for you, I'm happy for you. I'm here doing this. Here I am. Hello. 142.57 on GameStop. The low of the day, 142.11 today on GameStop. That is the story here. The Dow's down 69 points. Twitter up 111. Xterra up 4 cents. Rocket Lab down 35. SoFi 710 down 16 cents. 142.57 down 820 on GameStop. AMC 1727 down 75 cents. Matterport 673 down 21. ME down 18.5 cents. 337.5. Spire 182.5 down 5.5. ATIP down 9 cents to 172. SmartRent down 4 to 504. Pfizer down 134 to 51.78. Hewlett Packard up 66 to 38.14. There you go. Coyote, laugh out loud. Non-stop complaining, not keeping it real. Reddit DQ says, yeah. Tip, Wing Commander Saga, I would. Writing cover call near the all-time low of stock is a bad bet. That's what I'm thinking too. Guess writing calls on SoFi Matterport, not a good idea right now. Can't write GameStop calls, as I basically have to sell shares on eToro and buy back shares back to a real broker. Yeah, you don't want to write on Matterport SoFi right now. Nope, not right now. This is not the time. JJ, doubling down on my ATIP, January 23rd, 250 calls. Well, you got that, but I would just be buying the stock. The stock's cheaper than the calls. I just buy the stock, but that's me. 143.03 on GameStop right now. 143.03. Down 774. 142.82 down 795. Jumping around on GameStop all over the place. But no volume. Really no volume. There you go. There's another situation for you. Not expecting a lot of news today from the markets. It's just it's a quiet day because Europe is shut down today. That's all it is. Nothing personal. It's just a quiet day in Europe today. So we're getting a very little reaction here, very little action over here. Although, we've been basically higher most of the day today with a little down dip for a bit there, but we've been mostly positive. The question is, how much will it go? 215 thumbs ups. Thank you guys. Wow, this is awesome. Keep those thumbs ups coming in for us. Thank you guys. 215 now. This is great. Man, this is good stuff. I like it. Thank you. Yeah, Twitter's 4637 of 129. Just won't give up. Interesting. Alberto, donation on PayPal from Alberto. Thank you, my friend, very much for that. That is, as you know, incredibly appreciated. Those PayPal donations are the gold standard of support. I thank you. Thank you. The links are down below if you have an inkling to do anything like that. Oh my gosh, thank you guys. Thank you. Helping us with some London cash. I've been looking at like a couple of hotel ideas. I'm looking now at the Hilton hotels. I'm going, whoa, they're not cheap, but oh, they're nice. Looking at renting a scooter for Jen. Those come in about £23 a day for an electric scooter. But what a difference it makes. I mean, the mobility factor for the two of us to be able to go to the London, history, the National History Museum. We'll have hours of time with her on wheels, of course, a big difference. And it saves me from pushing a wheelchair for hours and hours and hours. I mean, that's also so important. So changing the world, really, changing our lives. I would really like to do a bit of a Beatles tour in London, and I'd like to have Jen come with us. So having the scooter for mobility will be a big deal too. Anyway, we'll see how it all works out. I've been watching YouTube videos on how to get around London with a wheelchair and with scooters just to see how others do it. And thankfully, London is very accommodating. Thank God for that. So yeah, it looks all right. It's a member list. It's the member list. If we could get the people in this group actively working together, I suspect we could earn more. Cindy, all those ATIP cover calls that I bought with those ones are expiring worthless. I will only buy the stock. Francisco, can we get chrome rims on that scooter? Yeah. Yeah, we're looking forward to figuring this out. Then there's Amsterdam. I'm certain we can get a scooter there. And then there is Zurich, and this is where we're trying to figure it out. There's Switzerland. I should say Switzerland, not Zurich. There is Switzerland, and I'm debating which way to go. One thought was renting a car versus doing the trains. There's advantages, disadvantages to any option you want to choose here. Then there's the passes, the rail passes, and the half-off price passes, and the top of the world passes, and all this stuff. All kinds of choices there. Then there's the scooter idea. What about that? And I thought, well, if we're going to be in Zurich, the area, for 4 or 5 days, we might rent a scooter for the full time there. That would be a good idea. But if we're then going to be mobile, we're going to be 3 days here, 3 days here, 2 days here, 3 days here. Scooter, car, train, all that. It's lots and lots. Don't know yet. We'll figure it out. We'll do the best we can with what we got. Anyway, there's that. Got to get chrome wheels, though. Buy Matterport and SoFi stock. Tuck it away. Got it, Uncle B. You got it, buddy. Berta, you're welcome, Uncle. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Thumbs ups for Bruce from Duncan. Thanks, buddy. What's cooking, Wendy? Auntie Jen, I have mobility issues and I use a scooter. It is so liberating. They're so much more accommodating overseas. Just no hiking for folks. That's not. We weren't ever going to hike. I mean, that was never in the cards. So yeah, there you go. House buggy driven by Kramer. Like us, Wendy. What can I say? Yeah, it's a different world. I mean, the last time Jen and I were in Europe, we were walking. She'd have a sore hip, but not in god awful pain. But now it's deteriorating badly, and so we have to address it, and we will. We'll just address it, and we'll figure it out. Now, does anybody know, if anyone's here watching from the UK, I would really like to know this. What are the rules regarding the United Kingdom for medical cannabis? Are there dispensaries? Are there not? What is the story about medical cannabis for the United Kingdom? Amsterdam, I don't think that's going to be a problem. And from what we understand in Switzerland, medical cannabis is not an issue either. I think we figured that out. But the UK, I'm really curious to know, what is the story in London? I know that when we get there, we can ask the concierge, we can ask the bellman, we'll get the answer. But I'd like to know going in, what is the story on this? Does anyone know? Because Jennifer loves to use the oil. She also has a cream that she applies on her joints for her knee and her ankle and her hip. Miraculous here, miraculous. We use it in California. We use it. She uses it here. We want to know about over there. Is it legal? Is it available? What's the story? Anybody know? Asking for a friend. There you go. If you want to be mobile social, I suggest renting a car. Right on. Thank you. Dave, they have it, but I don't think you'll qualify for a medical exemption if you don't live there. And that's something we've got to check out about availability of said product through dispensaries or whatever it is. I don't know. Credit status, diamond status also will have them give you free upgrades on your stay. So if you have a regular room, you automatically upgrade it to a bigger room. I've been upgraded to suites before. I think you're talking about Hilton, right? We have a card. I have a Hilton card, honors card, but we'll see. The story is no for medical cannabis. The story is no for medical cannabis in UK. Duncan is not. Well, he's blowing smoke. There you go. Anyway, we'll see what we'll try to figure this all out. We're not in the UK for a month, so it's not going to be a long-term issue. So you can always revert to the Aleve and the Tylenols, and hence a scooter, big important thing. But we'll see how it goes elsewhere. It's just a matter of how this all's going to come together. I just do not know. We just don't want to run afoul of any rules, and we want to keep everybody happy. And we'll see what gives. That's the deal. That's the story of a lovely lady. Anyway, 142.57 on GameStop right now. 142.57, the low. 141.50. 141.50 is the low today on GameStop. And there you have it. Bruce, bombing one in the UK. Oh my. What else is happening out there? Not a lot. I'm sorry to tell you that I want to give you all kinds of breaking news, but with half the world celebrating Easter Monday, it's a slow one. Dave, Uncle Bruce, your friend should buy up a Dosecan CBD capsules here in Canada, empty vitamin bottle, refilled to pure CBD, no THC capsules. Yeah, well, I don't think so. I don't think we want to play those games. Anyway, we'll be in Amsterdam soon enough. And we're in Switzerland, and we'll just we'll take it from there. One day at a time. That's all we can do. Anyway, what are we at now? The Dow's only up 21. We've come back down again. We're backing off again. We got a S&P only up 4.7 points now. NASDAQ is showing a 6.9 point gain. This is exactly what I thought was going on. Nothing happening at all. Nothing really happening at all. Cody, call the hotel in advance, Uncle Bruce, and tell them you want to scout locations for another live event, and then get them to comp your stay. There you go. Traveling with Bruce is my one channel. Stock Markets with Bruce is my other. And hotel reviews being done across Europe with your buddy Uncle Bruce. Time to do hotel reviews on YouTube, including live broadcasts from hotel rooms with good Wi-Fi. Can that be arranged? Wouldn't that be lovely? There's a really nice Hilton near Regent Park in London. It's quite nice looking. It's a high rise. It's like 28, 29 floors high. Kind of nice to be down there. That'd be all right. I'd love to talk to you from my suite in London with a view of Hyde Park and Buckingham Palace. That'd be pretty cool. Just trying to, just trying to raise the entertainment level of this channel for you, all of you out there. We all know their occupancy is down. Swing your YouTube fame around. There you go. Swing that fame around. Anyway, there it is. There's what we're looking at. Well, the folks, if anyone here is watching from Hilton, and you can help us out with accommodations in London, Amsterdam, Zurich, and Geneva, Bern, Switzerland, let us know. Will you wear an ascot? Well, of course, when a local, when in London, I got to find a bowler hat, one of those, those. Man, you guys, oh man. Anyway, I'd like to do a Beatle tour. I'd like to go see 3 Savile Row. I understand it's an Abercrombie and Finch store now. We'll have to go in there. We'll see what's going on. What's going on here? Only when solving crime with the gang in a dog. Well, I'm going to need one of those curly pipes and one of those hats. Scott, grab an overcoat and a pint for the weather. Thank you, Scott. 99 Nations loving this. You got to dress the part. You gotta come dressed to play. Of course. I mean, after all, I think that YouTube could certainly use a few videos on quality accommodations in London, Amsterdam, and Switzerland post-pandemic from a senior citizen baby boomer point of view. Because after all, most of my generation have more money to spend now, and I've got to let those folks know what it's like, whether you want to come to a Hilton hotel in London proper or not, or should you book somewhere else. Anybody know anybody with Hilton? Let me know. If anyone's got a lot of Hilton honors points that they don't need and they want to throw around and they're transferable, you let me know. I would be more than happy to accept Hilton honors points to bump up my dormant account. That would be fabulous. Anyway, I think there might be a difference between actual cannabis and cannabis-based medical products. Maybe the hotel in London has some information ahead of time. There's that too. That's what I'm hoping. Just roll a blunt with some chronic crush in a hot bath. Boom. Bobby, medical pot is more CBD versus the THC from what I know. That's what we're thinking. CBD oil is what we're thinking about here. Credit. Bruce, what are you doing, man? The Aspire card gives you access to the Diamond Desk because, hello, you have Diamond status. They can make all those accommodations for you, and they will all have free brekkie. How about that? Depends on the strain at Bobby. There's that too. Credits, Savage. Thank you. I gotta figure that stuff out too. We got work to do this week. A lot of work to do. But we'll see what we can do. In the U.S., typically the medical marijuana is more potent in the THC. I'd love a CBD bubble bath. That sounds luxurious, says 99 Nation Videos. Oh my goodness. Where are we at right now? GameStop 142.17. The low 141.50. So we're 67 cents away from another low of the day on GameStop. We're not getting a recovery bounce of any serious significance here at the moment. 142.16, 17, somewhere in that neighborhood is where we seem to be at the moment on GameStop. Okay. Let's see what's going on. The Dow up 43 points. S&P up 7, NASDAQ up 15, 16 points. That's it right there. I was looking at some videos about London, doing some touring of London. I found the Borough Markets looked really interesting. Has anyone ever been to the Borough Market? Borough, I think that's how you spell it, Borough Market. It's a series of food stalls. They sell cheeses and they sell food to eat on the spot, food to go, meats, all kinds of nationalities, foods. It looked really neat. I would like to see that place. Anyone think of that? 99 Nation, medicine for all your parts. John, all this pot talk is making me hungry, laughing a lot. These pretzels are making me thirsty. 142.59 on GameStop. 142.57, about $1 away from the low of the day. Yeah, the borough market, there's some pretty good YouTube videos on the borough market. Some are very active where people talk and eat. Others are just a camera walking around. There's a guy just walking around with the camera, and you just absorb it as if you're walking through there. Either way, I love all those kinds of videos. I think it's great. Is that the market from Bed Knob and Broomsticks? People wonder. Chris Evans, I did a review on the Aspire card around a year ago. Just the status is worth it, but you get 500 worth of credits right off the bat, and then a free night for a year. Every year you have the card, 450 free. The problem with the Aspire card credit is I think you're in the USA and I'm in Canada, and there's a difference. We're stuck with Canadian versions. I grew up watching that on an old VHS as 99 Nation. Cindy, when you get to Amsterdam, be careful partaking. Did you see the SNL where the boomers call 911 after smoking too much pot? I don't partake ever anyway. I'm not a partaker, and Jen is not interested in partaking, as it were, in the the smoking sense. We're just looking for medical cannabis, really. DJ, I got 100 Goldman Sachs at 334. I want to write a covered call. Which strike price and date would you recommend I write on Goldman Sachs right now? Well, the stock's at 326 at the moment. It's up 459. Yay! So, if you want to write a call, maybe 3 weeks out, 2-3 weeks out, maybe either April 29 or early May, you may want to look at writing maybe a 330 to a 335. The further out, the more conservative. The premium won't be as high, but you may want to take a look somewhere between 330 and 335 for like anything 2 to 4 weeks out. Might be your way to go. Bobby, Portobello Market. Oh man, Algorithms. What is this poison pill Twitter adopted to prevent a hostile takeover? Well, this is a trick that corporations tried to use in the 80s and the 90s to thwart outside takeover attempts. What would happen though is that people like Elon would buy up 4 or 5% of the company, and then they would pack the board of directors with their slate of officers, thwarting the poison pill. In other words, now you have a guy with less than 10% of the company running the company with his nominees and doing whatever they want. Poison pills are a way to theoretically prevent Elon from not from buying up the company, but if you do buy up the company, there are all kinds of additional dividends that shareholders have to get, or there are penalty payouts that have to be made, or there are unbelievable golden parachutes to all the senior officers of the company, just making it so much more expensive, where shareholders get ripped off because they don't get that big money per share. So these guys like Elon would just pick off the board of directors one by one, and over a 3-4 year period, they replace the entire board of directors with their slate, get rid of the senior management they don't want, change the company policy the way they want, eliminate the poison pill by eliminating it, and then taking it over. I mean, there's ways. So just elongates it. I love writing cover calls on Goldman Sachs, says Bama Babe. Goyote rolled one of my GameStop options forward today for a small profit. I dropped my strike $5, but I moved up a month. Interesting. Thanks, Uncle B. You got it, DJ. Dave, the Mac guy. Elon already has a greater percentage ownership than the entire board. The poison pill kicks in if Elon owns a specific percentage, but at which point Twitter issues more shares to prevent Elon from owning that percentage. And on the games go. These poison pills can be a million different combinations of silliness. I think what Twitter's doing is I think they are secretly and quietly making calls and contacts, reaching out through intermediaries to find a friendly takeover offerer, corporate, personal, whoever it is. That's my thing. What a game. What a game it is, Mama Babe. What a game it is. We'll see how that all works out. Okay, GameStop 142.70, 142.23. The Dow is down 63 points right now. The low of the day on GameStop 141.50 with 142.20, 70 cents away from the new low of the day. That's where I see it. Basically, only way Elon doesn't take over is if there's another bigger buyer or if he loses interest. Frumbler, Goyote, really bearish on GameStop. There you go. 142.20 last trade, 70 cents away from the low of the day. right now, down 8.57. Just dropped. New low of the day, 141.48. Brand new low of the day. We're down 9.29. That's a new low right now. 141. It just dropped like $1 by itself, just like that. 141.48 at the low of 141.23, dropping again on GameStop. Down now 9.29. The Dow's up 67 points. S&P up 8.7. Nasdaq up 10.5. Not a lot going on. Any other takeover bid will have to beat Elon's or Twitter risks shareholder lawsuits. Correct. Bearish short term, says Coyote. That's the key, says Coyote. Bill was pretty sure Elon already lost interest. Credit Dave the Mac guy. To be honest, I have more shares than the entire board, and I only bought 100. Vilbus, he didn't even have the dollars lined up the back of his offer. Cody, anyone playing the VIX with the UVXY question mark? I am not. The Dow up 60. Rocket GameStop 141.78. Just in and around this low of the day territory of 141.23. That is the low of the day on GameStop. The volume now, 845,000 shares. No serious volume coming in to hold that market up. We're at 1741 on AMC, down 61 cents. Low of the day there, 1708. That is, again, under pressure. AMC volume, 9.8 million. Nothing going on. Not a lot going on there. The Dow is up 66 points, holding on to a little bit of a gain right now. Why don't they want Elon to buy 54? It's a great offer for shareholders. Well, again, there's a lot of egos involved. There's a lot of pride involved, and there's also greed. And these directors might feel that it's possible they could attract one or two other offers for the company from other sources, creating a bidding war. And if they manage to get this deal done at 60 instead of 54, they've done their investors a solid. They've done their shareholders a solid by doing that. It's just a game. Uncle, I hear you about the credit card, but I have Canadian friends that have signed up for the Hilton Aspire, and they get it. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, we'll look into that. Friends said Elon can borrow against his Tesla shares to buy Twitter 10 times over. True. Austin, Uncle Bruce drinks caffeine-free Diet Coke. Uncle Bruce drinks caffeine. Yes, I highly doubt the old guy fires up the green. You are correct. The old guy does not fire up anything. Correct. Villas, Ken and had it officially lined up are two different things. Coyote, I will partake on his behalf. Well, thank you, Coyote, for helping out. Frumler, so you feel comfortable holding 100 strike GameStop in June when announcements coming and split? You feel comfortable holding a $100 strike GameStop call? Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever. I'd go further out than that, though. I'd go October beyond. Dave, the Twitter board doesn't want to lose control nor see Twitter go private. There's that, too. That is true. 142.07, 141.81. We're jumping around here on this game. So 141.81, 60 cents away from the low of the day right now on GameStop. Market is up 75 points on the Dow Jones. Coyote, I don't have any covered calls with $100 strikes on GameStop, and I don't have any expiring in June. I'm thinking if you are long a call, congratulations. But if you're short, I don't think you should be short $100 calls at all. I think you should be looking at rolling over. And as the stock comes down to you, it's getting cheaper to do so. So congrats, everybody. Those of you who've hung out and waited for the shares to come to you, they've been coming. We're pushing this 141.23 for the low. If we break 140, we'll have hit the low trade since the takeoff of the stock from $78 to $200 in the last 3 weeks. So we are very close here to a new breakout on the down dip. If we break 140, watch out. There's another $10 right behind it. Watch out. 130 would be next. 141.86. That's it right now. Coyote, what Uncle Bruce said, I don't think many are still short with $100 strikes. I would imagine most have already rolled up. Very few are left. I certainly would think so. But some folks out there written 120s, they've written 130s, they've written 140s, 150s, 60s, and now the stock is coming at them. Finally, and these premiums are shrinking out. Finally, good to see. Bahama, anyone writing a cash secured put on GameStop? If so, at what price? Or is it too volatile? There you go. Look, you can write at 120 if you want. You can write at 130. You can write at 100. totally up to you if you've got the cash to put up and you want to wait it out. I don't know what kind of premiums you get, but whatever works for you out there, kids. But you're counting on the stock to go up. The question is it going to go back to 110 before it goes to 150 again? And then back to 120 before it goes to 145, 50, 60? I mean, what will it do? I don't know. Long time till June, says Francis. Francisco, yes, it is. Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is. We're up 75 on the down. S&P up 6.7. NASDAQ up 3.2. And we've got Twitter up 175 to 46.83. I guess Sexter up 6 cents to 13.23. We have Rocket Lab 809 down 33. SoFi down 15 cents to 7.11. GameStop 142.50 now. AMC 17.55 down 47. Matterport 6.69, 6.68 now down 26. ME 337.5 down 18.5 pennies. Spire 181 down 6 cents. Hycroft down a dime at 191. ATIP down 7.5 cents to 173.5. Smart Rent 4.99 down 9 cents. Pfizer down 124 to 51.88. That is backed off again. HPQ 38.35 up 88 cents today. Robinhood at 10.98 down 40. We're under 11 on the hood. Vanik Vectors SMH up 4.01 today. Home Depot down 3.31. IBM up 12 cents. Microsoft up 69 cents. Apple down 19. Goldman Sachs up 5.95 to 327.59. Cisco up 20, Facebook up 50 cents, Amazon up $10, Tesla up 17 to 1,002, Google up $15 to 2,560 bucks. Bed Bath Beyond up a nickel to 17.37, BlackBerry down 16 cents, Royal Caribbean down 37 cents, JP Morgan up 162, Costco down 278, Walmart down 2 pennies, Nvidia up $3. American Airlines down 6 cents to 18.94. Netflix down 7.46. Moderna down 7.94 to 157.55. And there it is. The Dow up 57. Let's see. Wing Commander. I wrote a $95 strike January 23rd when the stock was at 115. Currently up 1,000. Premium was $32. Interesting. That's interesting. Bama Babe, I'm just wanting to buy more shares of GameStop and maybe take in some premium till it falls to my strike price. Interesting. Yeah. GameStop now 142.09, 142. Low of the day 141.23. That is where it's at. 141.87. Still 60 odd cents away from the low of the day. The stock does not seem to be able to catch a bid at the moment to get out of the bottoming here. We're still bottoming out, and we're chugging along, going nowhere fast. 710 on SoFi down 16 cents. Francisca, what do you want to do with more GameStop shares? Asks Francisca from Bama Babe. Well, if you get 100 more, you can write more calls, I guess. Whatever the deal is, 142.14, 142 even. Right on that stock. The Dow's up now 40, dropping off. We're backing up again on the Dow. The NASDAQ is negative 16. It's gone red. Just turned around here, went red. We're only up a point on S&P. The markets are coming into some selling right now. That is definitely happening on the big markets, the big boards. Oil up only 31 cents a barrel at 107.26. Coyote says, you never have enough GameStop. DQ, man, look at the May 20, 125 or 130 GameStop puts. DQ is thinking those might be what were they looking at? 142.28 on GameStop, $1 away from the low of the day. Of course, at any time, GameStop can drop $1, $1.50 on one trade. It's still, widespread bid asks, but those are going to tighten after the split's done. If we do get a 5-for-1, we'll be trading in this $38 level. Share. I'm sure that the bid and ask will be less than a nickel all the time between bid and asks. We'll watch for that. By the way, thank you for these thumbs ups, everybody. 229 of them have come in today. thank you for supporting this channel with your thumbs ups today. I do appreciate it. Those of you who have become members of this channel, cannot thank you enough for supporting me, helping me keep on the air. Appreciate that. If you're a Chillin' with Uncle Bruce member, you can comment all you wish. We just had the rollover day over the weekend, celebrating our 13th or 14th, our 13th month anniversary. Some of you will now be notified that you're a viewer of this channel now, member for 14 months, entering month 14. Thank you all. And of course, as each day goes by, more and more of you are becoming 1 year anniversary followers and members of this channel. And I thank you so much for being a member of this channel for a year. Beautiful stuff. It's great. It's really helped this channel a lot, having these memberships. It keeps it PG rated, keeps the trolls at bay. We and I and my viewers thank you all. It's a good stuff. Okay. Bama Babe, a $125 put for May on GameStop, premium $23.65. So Obama Babe would be obligated to buy GameStop for $125, but she would be paid $23.65 upfront per share. That's a $2,365 credit, putting up $12.5 of her money, getting $23.65 back right away. In effect, she would be committing to buy GameStop for $100. $101.35 would be the net cost of GameStop if she were to be assigned on that put. It's $141.92 right now. So she'd be $40 in the money right now. If the stock closes above 101, 102 between now and by the end of May 20, which is just coming up in a few months, she can keep a portion of that $23. If it closes above 125, the stock closes at 126 on May the 20th, Bama Babe gets all $2,365 to her account. It's all hers. She doesn't have to give any of it back. That's not a bad trade. Can you get assigned on a cash secured put prior to the expiry? Yes, you can. Yes, you can get assigned in an hour. Yeah, you could. That would be wonderful for Bama Babe. If she were to be assigned right away for that put, she wouldn't mind. She'd get, she'd own the stock for $101 a share, and it's trading at 140. Yeah, that'd be an okay trade. She could write a call on it right now. She could just sell it for 141, pocket the $40 and say, thank you, may I have another? Bama, wait, my bad. Put premium just $750. Oops, there you go. Friends, very unlikely stocks with so much time premium. DQ, Bama, I see the premium 7's not 23. What are you doing? Bama, I was looking at the call. Austin, I know I've been saying this for months, but what if the EFF is wrong with SoFi? Good grief, give me one good day. DQ, Bama, baby, you were looking at the calls, not the puts. See, there's people here to help each other out here. Cody, and she'd be beating RC's most recent buy. Dave, the Mac guy, DQ, yep, had me wondering for a minute. There you go. So she would be getting 750 instead of 23. So she would have to cough up 117.50 net to buy the stock. So as long as it trades above 117.50, she'd make money on this deal. Obviously, if it trades above 125, she keeps all $750 for only May. This is April. We're talking a month. 1 month, $750. If the stock stays over 125, she's laughing. Gowdy, Austin, hang in there, man. I know it's hard, but it will pay off someday, and the waiting and frustration will be worth it. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this deal when this happens. You're gonna love the way this goes. We're only up 8 points on the Dow now. We're giving up ground. We're negative on S&P, down a point. We're down 29, almost 30 on NASDAQ. We're backing up. We're down to 806 on Rocket Lab, down 36. We're down to 709 on SoFi, down 17. A look at GameStop, 141.50. We're falling again. We're coming down to the low here. 141.23 is the low of the day. We are approaching it now. 141.54.55. We're 30 cents away from the low of the day. John, I'm with you. Very frustrating and hard to sit back every day and realize today isn't the day for SoFi. When it comes, it'll be so sweet, and it'll be violent, it'll be dramatic, and it'll be nonstop action. We will be there at 141.72 on GameStop. Will it drop under 140. That is the key number now. Let's see what happens here. DQ Austin. It's not just SoFi. It's pretty much all of 2022 so far, says DQ. There you have it. 141.72 on GameStop. $1.50 away from carnage. Real carnage. If we break through 140, watch out. So far, says DQ. And true, says John Beckman. 141.67 on GameStop. The Dow down 21.5. S&P down 4. NASDAQ down 42. We are still dropping on the big exchanges here. All the big stocks are falling off right now. How much of a drop will it affect GameStop now? What will happen there? Everything connects somehow. We're down 59 on AMC. Matterport down 28. ME down 22. Spire down 7.5. ATIP down 8.5. Smart Rent down 16 to 492. Pfizer down 119. We're still up 69 on Hewlett Packard, but we were up more. Yeah, down 392 on Home Depot. IBM down 48. Microsoft's only up 16 cents. It was at 282.50. It's now 279.99. Microsoft's backing off as I had thought it would today. And we'll do from here. I think it'll go lower. Apple down 54 to 164.75. Goldman holding a 468 gain right now. 141.40 on GameStop. We're almost hitting a new low here. We're down 31 on the Dow. Here we go. We are running into paper on GameStop. 141.20, the low of the day. 141.44, 141.40. We are approaching the low on GameStop again. Austin, I'm not even an unreasonable guy. I know you win some, you lose some, but I haven't had a winner since Bing Crosby tap dance with Danny Kaye. I mean, that's a long time ago. Friends, SoFi is not my favorite position, but I'm in for a very small slice. Bought 107.43 and now at 171. Austin, I just bought to join the cool kids in the club. 141.38. Oh, it's coming in on GameStop. More stock is coming in. Sellers are undercutting each other to get out. The low of the day, 141.20. How is this going to go? Karim, how hard do you think it'll be to get 100 GameStop after the split? Like, will the price go up quickly once the opening at a lower price? Well, oh, by the way, we're at a new low now, 141.18 on GameStop, 141.12, another new low right now. It'll be easy to buy 100 shares after the split. Easy. There'll be 5 times as many shares trading. The question is, what kind of a run-up, what kind of philosophy has it got, what kind of momentum? We're under 141 on the GameStop. We touched 140.90 on it just a moment ago. New low, says Dave. So more selling coming in. Yeah, Karim, you're going to have an easy time buying stock after the split. Easy. It might run up, but it won't run up $1 a trade. It won't do that. 141.07, 141.12. We touched 140.90 on GameStop. Another low today on 927,000 volume. Oh, are we not trading a lot of stock today? 48-point down dip on the Dow, 6.5 S&P, 48 on NASDAQ now. And if you want 100 after the split, just buy 20 now. Pick a price you like it and sell puts at that level. There's always that too. 705 on SoFi, down 21 cents. 141.09 to 141.12 on GameStop. We broke 141 already. We could be going lower. Here we are again at 141 right now. We're going lower. Can we break 140? That's the number. 140.00. We get under that. Watch out. 140.75, new low. 140.75 to 79, new low. And we're going for that 140 level, and we might break that into the 130s. Watch out. Watch out. 140.75 to 79. Right here, right now, the Dow down 58. What's under 140? What's this? What's this? Watch GameStop. If it goes under 140, watch out. Could be another $10 drop. Maybe today, maybe not. But 140 is psychological. Big time psychological. I don't know if there's enough buying to hold it. I really don't know if there's enough buying to hold GameStop at 140. I don't know. We'll see. 140.88 right now. 140.109. Try to hang on. Selling is coming in. 45-point drop, 45-point drop on the Dow. Twitter up $2, 47.10 on Twitter. Okay, there you go. 140.88 on GameStop. 13 cents from the low of the day. I think our option writing is also called turnip blood. Oh my, that sounds gross. Turnip blood. 141.28, 141.03. Jumping all over the place here. Dow backing off. Undeniable. 141.28 on GameStop. Okay, there it is. I kind of like squeezing blood out of a turnip, says 99 Nations laughing out loud. I don't like it. 141.28 on the GameStop. Trying to hold on to the 141 level as best they can. Stock has been coming in. 141.05. More coming in again. More coming in. Oh my. Oh my. Dow down 44, 47 on the Dow now. Make sure to join me today at 3 o'clock for the afternoon show. We'll be here for the final hour. Tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern and 8 o'clock Eastern, I'm on my other channel, Traveling with Bruce tonight. The 8 o'clock show is open to everybody. Travel news, cruise ship developments, anything like that. Come on by, say hi. You got me. Let's roll the dice on GameStop. 130 put for $4.29. A little $400 gamble doesn't hurt anybody, says Francisco. There you go. 140.95 on GameStop. 20 cents away from the low of the day. There you are. That is the deal. You know what, Francis? You might be riding near the low of the day. You could be. Don't know if this is the low of the day or not. It might be lower than this. But hey, stays above 130. You keep that $400. It's all yours. If you want to wait till the end, which is only the 29th of April. That's not this Friday, but next Friday. That could be all yours. 140.64. New low right now. 140.64. New low of the day on GameStop. We're down 10.13 right now. The question is, will it break 140? Or will it hold 140? Another penny lower, 140.63. Another bunch of stock coming in, a little more stock coming in. 140.63 is a low of the day. The volume, 959,000. There is zero volume here, which makes me wonder just how strong is this bid at 140 today. Is it going to get whacked or not? Francisco, I'm long. I'm long. You didn't write it. You bought it. You're long. Okay. So you're in need of the stock to go lower, and it's accommodating you right now. I got it. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. If it goes to the stock goes to 130, I think you're going to make money. I think you're making money in that call. It'll go down for sure. It'll go up in value somewhat, but you only have till next week, Friday. So that's it. Okay, 140.72 on GameStop now. Now 140.81. So it's going to jump around a bit as it always does. Anyway, there you go, guys. Join me today at 3 o'clock, would you? Love to have you. Thanks again for these thumbs ups today. It's a tall ask. I'm asking a lot to get thumbs ups on a quiet day like today, but 237 of them come in, and I do appreciate all of these thumbs up so far. If you're able to throw one our way before you go for a little rest, please do help out. Thank you, everybody. 140.11 we just saw on GameStop. That's a new low as we're now attacking the 140 bid. We're going after it. 242 thumbs ups. Thank you, guys. We're now at 140.39, 140.30. We touched 140.11 already. There are stink bids there. There are stink bids at 140.06, 140.01, I'm sure. The question is enough volume coming in now to attack this 140 level. I think 20,000 just went through a few minutes ago to bring it down here. This is putting additional heat on the stock to continue to drop in value, and that is the deal right now, you guys. We're running into paper, and the stock is hitting new lows after new lows after new lows. Okay, there you go. Beach Boy now is looking at a 1975 bid on his July 160s. Yeah, baby, they're coming down. That's option. If it were to trade at that 1975 bid price, that would put this stock down 635 today, and the stock is off 1046. So, yeah, the further the stock drops, the more out of the money this call is, making it worse. I mean, it's almost $20 out of the money now. The 165s are only 1870. The 170s are 1740. So, yeah, there's more downside coming this on these shares or on these contracts because they're out of the money. Way out of the money. Way out of the money. Amazing. 140.43 last trade. The low today, 140.11. Where is the bottom and when? Rob, did we even touch sub 140 last week? Nope, we never did. I don't think we did. This could be the first time below 140 since the run-up. Twitter authorized dividend distribution. So what now is the question. We're up 210, 201 on the stock. Hey, Uncle Bruce, what price would you buy GameC at? 130, 2010. Where do you think the floor is now that we've held up through the last week or two? Cody, I'm waiting. If we break 140, we're down to 130 quick. So can't answer that question yet, my friend. Got to wait that out. See what's going on. Time will tell. Okay. Gamestop 140.50. 140.11 is also a 5-day. The 5-day high, I don't know what that means. 5-day low. It's also the 5-day low. There you go. There you go. Okay. Let me take a look at something over here. I haven't heard anything about this dividend thing about Twitter. I hadn't heard anything about a dividend, anything on Twitter. There we go. Twitter. It's 4706 now. Let's see. Get out of there. There you go. I have nothing on Twitter for any kind of a dividend. I don't know anything about this. I would need to know where this story is coming from. No idea on anything on Twitter like that. 140.58 on GameStop. Still hanging in there. 4706 on Twitter, up 198 right now on Twitter. Okay. 140.44. GameStop, a little sell wave coming in. 33 cents away from the low of the day. Will we break 140? 140.28 now. 17 cents away. Another hit just came in. A little more stock came in. 204 gain on Twitter, 47.12 right now. 140.28 on GameStop, 17 cents away from the low of the day. On the 1 year, GameStop looks like a downward trend, but on the 5 year, still looks like consolidation. See you guys later. Excited to see how this little gamble plays out. Maybe we buy more SoFi if GameStop comes our way, says Francis. You take care, buddy. 140.27. We're 16 cents away on GameStop to hit a new low of the day. Right now, stock still coming in on the bids. They're hitting bids. Oh my, down 10.50 on the GameStop today. 17.39 on AMC, down 63 cents. It's backing off. Twitter still holding 47.07, up 199. All right, there you go. There you go. All right. Guys, I'm going to pack it up. I will see this afternoon at 3 o'clock for the final hour of today's markets. Let's see how we do today. It's going to be, like I say, it's been kind of quiet because of Europe, but there's still stuff happening all over the place that we're following here. 140.41 on GameStop. at the moment, 30 cents away from the low of the day. And there it is. Paper drying up on Gamestop. 1 million by lunch, question mark. Rob wants to know. We'll find out, friend. There it goes. 140.12. We just hitting 1 penny away from the low of the day on GameStop. It's coming in again. Selling is coming in again on GameStop. 1 million just crossed the ticker now. 140.16 last trade. I think we've broken 140. If I'm not mistaken, we may have done this. 139.96. I think we had a shot down and up. A little shot here. I think we broke 140. See, Uncle Bruce, you betcha. DQ sees it. Thanks to Uncle Bruce. Neat. 139.80. New low, and people are noticing it now. It's sort of coming through here. 139.96. 139.96 low trade today on GameStop. We broke 140. Now the question is a panic wave of selling coming in, or is there will buyers back off, worried that, oh, geez, they've already breached 140. This is only a matter of time that we reach 136, 133, and back to 130. Is this going to happen? We'll see. Guys, keep an eye on all this. Scully knows the low is 139.80. There you go. Down 103 on the Dow now. We're at the low of the day on the Dow. That is the low of the day on the Dow Jones. So that's not helping. 140.31 last reported trade on GameStop. EMC down 69 to 17.34. Okay. So join me this afternoon at 3 in the afternoon for the final hour. And we'll watch all this together in the meantime and report to you then. We'll get through it, see what happens. I'll catch you then, and otherwise I'll see you tonight on Traveling with Bruce. Okay, guys? Thanks so much for all your support. We'll see you later. Bye from Calgary.